Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to At the Shop, the only podcast where we recommend that you learn how to work on your own vehicle. Not because you can save time and money, but because the bank can't repo your car if it's in pieces. How are you guys doing today?
I'm hanging in there today. It has been a long couple days, but it is great to be here.
It's been a Friday. That's for sure. I'm exhausted.
Oh yeah, for you, those of you who don't know, we record this on Fridays after work.
After hours.
Me and Roth are still in our shop clothes. That's why I'm probably wearing the same thing you saw in the last episode.
And the
covered in dirt.
And the ongoing joke is going to be how many people try to open the door after we've already closed.
That also happened.
From last week's episode.
Oh man.
So what's new with you, Joe?
Not much, just working on cars, making absolutely no money at all.
And you, Nelson?
Similar deal, just with cleaning cars. Cleaning a lot of cars, making, well, you know what? I make money, but I make about enough money to pay my rent and buy more chemicals. So it's a good first year.
What kind of cars were you working on?
So let's see. What was the last thing I did?
Scrubbed a bench seat.
It was actually a Ram 2500, so you're
Oh,
you're close. Yeah.
Close.
I didn't scrub the bench seat. It was just so
You sucked it.
I did actually with a vacuum. But in the Rams, like the I guess they're, I don't know if it's the base model or what, or if it's just an option, but you can get that front seat that has the kind of like, you could fold it up and you got 3 seats. Or you fold it down and you have like 12 cup holders.
Oh,
you know what I'm talking about?
What year?
It's got like the 3 cup holders in the middle or something like that?
Yeah, I think it was a 2014,
Probably a 15.
something like that.
Oh,
It was
so
it was a
a
fourth
newer
gen.
one then.
Yeah. Is it the one you
4th gen.
posted on Instagram?
Yes.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
So follow him on Coachworks. Was it Mobile Detailing?
Yep, Coachworks Mobile Detailing.
On Instagram and Facebook. You can see what we're talking about there. Maybe whoever's editing this can probably put a picture up here.
There we go.
You.
We'll see. Last edit was kind of rough for me.
Yeah.
But yeah, this thing had like, so, being a Ram 2500, usually they are
Gasser.
dirty, and
Diesel?
you know what? I don't remember. I think
It was
it
probably
was
smoked in, and like some supervisor probably had like 7,000 idle hours in it or something.
Yeah, it was definitely a work truck. Long bed, crew cab, cloth interior.
Rubber,
Does it have, like,
rubber,
rubber mat?
floor mats?
Yeah.
So
Like a no carpet rubber mat?
he actually had both. So when we actually replaced the rubber floor mats, his rubber floor mats were just unacceptable. So he pulled out some that he got as a gift earlier on, and so we took out his old ones, tossed them, threw the new ones in. But it was funny. He had them over his cloth floor mats. So I was like,
Dude,
double
so-
protection.
I was gonna say that's so weird when people do that.
Yeah.
Like
How dirty do you guys let your cars get before you start having to clean it?
okay, that's a double-edged sword. So like, for us who have wives,
Yeah.
That's the one.
the family hauler is
Kids will do it.
oh yeah, absolutely. Kids will
yeah.
destroy anything that involves a car.
They make stuff now, though, where you could do preventative things in order to make cleaning your family hauler less of a ordeal.
Which I
because-
definitely don't do.
Yeah, but if I
Yeah.
got to be up at 7:45 to get the
Yeah.
kids to school, like,
Oh, but
that's
this is
You're
not
happy.
happening.
this is
It's gonna look like Grandma's living room where all the seats are covered in like Saran wrap and shit.
Dude, we're just it's so funny. So we had a customer coming today who's a teacher here in the area, and she says one of the scariest things she sees in the mornings is like mothers dropping off their kids and they have a breathalyzer in the car. Oh boy, did that
So yeah,
like it hit me.
yeah, the people you can tell that are
Dude.
coping well with parenthood.
Dude,
Yeah.
it
That's a good
shocked me.
parent-teacher conference.
Dude, it shocked me. I was like, I don't know how I feel about this.
Well, and those are always fun cars to work on too, because if they don't give you a spare mouthpiece, like,
Oh.
you're just rolling the dice for herpes at that point.
Oh, dude,
I've done it.
I have a hard rule. If it comes in here with a breathalyzer,
They have to have mouthpieces.
either mouthpieces or I'm not working on it at all. 'Cause
That's
I don't want
very fair.
I don't know where he or she's lips have been, and I don't want to find out.
Yeah.
Well, like I've got a close friend that I used to do landscaping with, and she had multiple DUIs and warrants in other states for it. But Yeah,
A warrant
she,
for a
Yeah,
DUI?
she wanted me to work on her Ram 1500, and
That's
I had to go pick it up. And,
breathalyzer?
well, and I was close friends with her, so she didn't have any spare mouthpieces,
Damn,
so
boy,
I just
you were
raw
getting
dogged
it,
that
weren't
thing.
you? You was getting it. He was
Nice.
getting it.
Yeah, by proxy. Yeah,
Yeah, he was definitely getting
we
it.
made out by proxy.
Yeah, nice.
I got to first base without not even having
It's
to
such a
try.
weird feeling having to blow into your car to have it start too.
Oh yeah, you blow your car to get the engine to start going,
Yeah.
to fire it up.
Yeah,
You just gotta blow it to
Gotta
fire
get-
it
yeah,
up.
get-
Dude, it's like
real
those
good
fucking
at that.
Nintendo 64 cartridges.
yeah.
It doesn't
Yeah,
work right.
It was
You have
the
to
same
blow
thing.
into it.
You had to
Yeah.
blow it to play the game.
But dude,
Oh,
like
man.
on the real, just take a step back and realize that a teacher in a rural area is talking about kids in an elementary school getting dropped off by parents in the morning, and those parents have a breathalyzer.
Yes.
That hits kind of deep if you really
I see
think
nothing
about
wrong
it.
with that.
It's very Arizona.
Yeah.
So, if you're a parent with a breathalyzer and you're dropping off your kids, I'd like to hear from you. I'd like to know why and how it happened, and what kind of reactions you get from the teachers when you drop off your kids.
There's probably some great stories that come out of it, you know?
Nothing
Have
wrong with
you-
a little
have you-
Bailey's in your coffee.
Dude,
Hey, yeah.
have you had a detail car with a breathalyzer yet?
I have not.
Because like I feel like half the time they come in.
I feel like people who drink and drive don't have the money.
Dude,
I-
no. It's not even that. Like every time I get in one of these things, the breathalyzer. It's probably gonna be the podcast name, Breathalyzers, at this rate.
Well, yeah.
But have you ever noticed they always have like a tumbler or like a Circle K cup full of cigarettes?
That
You know
too.
what?
Yeah, those
Yes.
stupid Amazon aftermarket things where it's just the cup with the little clips on the
Oh,
side
yeah,
that
yeah,
you can
yeah.
hold cigarettes
Have
with.
you seen the breathalyzer that is one of those cups?
What?
What?
I'm pretty sure
Ugh.
that they make a breathalyzer.
Oh, this is have to go on screen.
We're
I
saving
am-
time now with
It-
that.
hopefully this
shit.
wasn't just a weird dream, but I'm like 90% sure that there is a breathalyzer. I feel like I saw it on like the MDV.
Are you a
site.
45-year-old divorcee that smokes in your car and got in trouble with the state
We got the
With the
cup for
feds.
you.
Yeah, for real. So
for only $19.99?
do you know what's even more awkward? When they come in, I've only had a handful of them. Like they don't really come in very often. If they do, half the time they don't want to afford the prices to fix it right.
And you're talking about the breathalyzer ones,
Yeah,
right?
but then they also have like a camera attached to them. That makes me feel even
well, yeah,
weirder.
they make you have both so that your friend
Yeah.
can't blow into
Yeah,
it for you,
dude,
and
it's
then
like-
you can dip.
It's like Big Brother's watching you getting your car serviced. And
I think it's a
man.
little different than
Yeah.
that.
Just driving along and getting recorded just seems
yeah,
like
bro, like you can't even pass a fart off without like somebody knowing about it.
yeah,
Yeah,
there's
but
like
there's no one watching you like 24/7. It's
Oh,
like if there's an
bro.
incident, then they go back
My
to
dude,
the.
people
Yeah.
abuse power all the time.
I'm sure they do.
like,
but
come on.
I mean,
Yeah.
you remember the thing that happened with the school laptops at that one school where
No.
they were I forget who, if someone either chimed in or if it was someone at the school, but they actually they were like watching kids at their house
That's fucking
doing
creepy.
their like homework or whatever, just hanging out in their
Yeah.
bedroom. So there was something that happened with that. I remember my high school had to do some kind of like tampering to the camera of sorts, and in order to kind of like continue using school laptops, because another school not far from us that happened, and so now all the schools in the area need to,
Uncle
cover
Tom's
all their,
always watching,
Pe-
dude.
people are crazy. man.
Oh, it was definitely it was Uncle Touch, not Uncle Tom.
How the fuck did we go from breathalyzers to this now?
Yeah, I don't know.
But anyways, if you are a single parent and or married parent that has a breathalyzer on their cars and drops off their kids, I'd like to hear about it.
What's worse though, the breathalyzer or someone who like religiously smokes in their car, or weed smokers in their
Oh.
car?
You know what?
You know,
Have you detailed weed smoker car yet?
Yes. It
Oh,
didn't
it's so
smell
bad.
at all.
Really?
So
Dude,
this
we-
car sat for a while. I found a lot of remnants. There was,
you could smoke it
literally
up and know all the
ground
stuff
beef.
you can put
Oh,
together.
oh man, you would have had a nasty high, but yeah. I found one of those vape carts,
Oh yeah,
and it
classic.
was ancient. It was like 1,000 years old.
Man,
Do you hear something? Because I don't.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
I don't know. We're just gonna pretend that we're actually closed because this is gonna
Yeah.
be an ongoing deal
So let's see.
at
This
the
is
shop.
you
this
gotta
is
unplug
podcast.
the phone when we do this.
Dude, I'm gonna have to unplug the whole fucking place
Yeah.
because Y'all can't see this.
Are we
but-
gonna cut all this, or are we just
No,
gonna
we're
leave
just
this
gonna
in
roll with
here?
it.
No,
I'm
we're
not
rolling.
gonna sit there and try to.
All right,
edit
well,
this
you
for
guys
4
can go
hours
ahead and
again.
listen to that. But yeah, dude, weed smoker cars are the worst. You had a customer with a Ram 1500. She wasn't bad looking, but dude, you just get in and it smells like she like ran a dispensary out of her car. And like I went to go pick her up in her car, and there was a roach, sitting on the dash, like as I got in the car, and I had to go drive to the DMV. I'm like, if a cop
Oh,
pulls
yeah.
me over and sees this thing,
But
it
here's the thing.
just smelled like wet, old, like just
I
sweaty
don't know
weed.
any cop though, like because I know a lot of them.
Well,
That's
Arizona's different.
that's actually gonna stop you and get you for weed. I mean, if you're fucking smuggling
Arizona's
like 50,
different.
60 pounds of that shit in the trunk,
There are still
a
states
duffel
that'll
bag.
get there are still states that'll get you for it.
yeah, but
We're
the,
not.
the state is
Yeah, we
like the
don't.
most lax on it. And window tint.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, so the thing about weed in a car is if it's like super fresh, like they're just transporting it and they have like left some fresh
Yeah, it doesn't
weed
really
in the
leave
car,
anything. Yeah.
whatever.
Fresh weed.
It smells good.
That's some
But-
fresh vibes.
Yeah. But like, yeah, smoked blunts and like
Oh man.
just the old
Like ash.
when it's
Well, like you ever
yeah.
like get a bong that hasn't been used in a while and you just smell it, like
Oh.
it's just disgusting.
Yeah.
You're an entertaining man, Joe.
Yeah, I am.
Do you
What was
consume
that?
the bong water too? Do you smell that?
Oh, have you heard
No.
of that guy who does
No.
who chugs bong water?
Oh,
It's bad.
I remember the guy that was chugging the hot dogs, like whole hot dogs in, just whoop,
Yeah,
Oop.
I've seen that one. Yeah.
thunk.
Oh, I could like feel that and it's not pleasant.
Dude, he's like a 12 pack,
Oh.
and it's just thunk. And then like you can hear it, like
It's good
there's a-
protein.
There's the like audible tone. It's like thunk, 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 thunk. Every time he dropped one in his mouth, and he was inhaling them. He wasn't even chewing them.
So they went into his lungs.
They went somewhere, dude.
He had hot dog breath for life.
When was the last time you guys drove under the influence?
Never.
Driving here today. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, never.
Yeah, I've never done that in my entire
Nope.
life.
Oh, okay.
Nope.
All right.
Christian
Yeah.
children.
Yeah, God,
God frowns upon it.
So we'll talk off air then.
Jesus took the wheel. Yeah, maybe.
Thank you, Jesus.
So last episode we kind of talked about car mods that were just terrible. Kind of how we got our start into like car culture and stuff like
Oh,
that.
yeah.
How we all
Dude.
started off with this.
Did I get back to you to one of our viewers, Sammy, the one we were talking about, that Crown Vic?
Oh yeah.
He got back to me, and let me try to find his message here.
Oh
real
yeah, that
quick.
was a great response.
Yeah,
honestly.
I talked to Nelson about it, but let me see if I can find his response here.
Yeah, what he just he still uses the same store for his
Hold on,
for his
hold on.
auto parts.
Hold on, he's like, so he listened to this thing at like 3 in the morning or something like that. So maybe he didn't listen to the whole thing. Maybe he did. I don't know. He listened to his part though. But Sammy says he loved it, and the podcast have got through the night, so we're glad to hear that. But he just wants to clarify. He upgraded to rain gutters. They're less wavy than garden edging. And that also sucks too, because you can never mount it right. Apparently, the garden edging.
Oh,
What?
huh.
You can't
So-
mount
What
so-
a shocker.
hardware stuff to your car
So
correctly?
he's using rain gutters.
Damn it.
Okay. He's using like 20 cents more of whatever plastic they sell you. I guess I don't know how they work, but he did say though that he would spend more money on better stuff if companies made good-looking body parts for the Crown Vic and Panther community, which is true.
Yeah.
There's I think there's only one or two companies that actually do anything like hoods and bumpers. I think are the only things.
Yeah,
that you
I've
can
seen
do
a couple with hoods.
But on the other flip side of that coin, what I didn't talk about was how much money he's got into his exhaust and his suspension.
He's putting rain gutters on his car, Roth.
Dude, but the flip side of that thing is he's actually got real money built into his
Okay.
suspension.
If I bought
And the exhaust.
a Lamborghini and put rain gutters on them, it's a Lamborghini,
You know,
but
there's
there's
that-
still rain gutters
It's
on
still
them.
really.
Yeah, it's true. Have you seen that white one around town missing the bumper with the
Yeah,
big
I
wang on
follow-
it?
I
The
followed him the
big
other
ass
day.
fucking things on
Yeah.
it for wheels.
I'm so mad I've still not seen it.
How do you not?
Everybody
I was-
has seen it but
I-
me,
I was-
apparently.
I was behind
Off
him at
air,
a
I'll
light.
give you the address where you can drive by and see it because it's on a main road.
Oh, okay.
The guy just, I don't know. I want to meet this guy.
I saw a woman driving it. It must have been his wife.
That's what I've heard. I've heard a lady actually drives that
Yeah,
car
that's what
too.
I wanted her
so
to take off at a light.
It's a
but she
family
didn't.
car, apparently.
But anyways, so Sammy did write back to us, and I'm glad that I got some feedback from him. If anybody watched something wants to give me some feedback, throw it at us. But yeah, don't use garden edging. Use rain guards instead if you want to mod out your car a little on the cheap and give it some flares.
Yeah, you know, as much as I'm like kind of a purist when it comes to like modifying your car. I don't know about a purist. I'm not a purist if I'm modifying my car. But, you know, if they don't make something and you try to make it work like a wide body for a Crown Vic, I mean, I applaud that because
there's nothing
you're
wrong
being
with that.
innovative. But, you know, definitely trying to hone in on the right material because, you know, I see a lot of cars where it looks like they slapped something on it and they were like, you know, cool. Like they're telling themselves it's cool,
Dude,
but it's not.
Dude, it's like
And
those
just try
bolt-on-
again.
Those fender flares for trucks that have the fake bolts, and then when you put them on because they're 3M taped, you put them on,
Yep.
and then they start having gaps between where the fake bolts go in the fender lines. Ooh, that
Yeah.
is a cringe moment.
That's rough.
Hella cringe.
I've worked on some pretty expensive cars that have actually had a lot of that, the fake bolts. And we're talking like, I mean,
Like all the fake vents on like the Audis and shit, and the
Oh.
BMWs, like there's like just plastic vents
yeah,
with no holes
I
cut out or
mean,
anything.
RX-3 actually has that on the
Speaking of which,
by the doors.
when I saw your X3 the other day, I couldn't help but laugh at that plate.
Thick M3.
It fits so well with that X3. I
It's
saw
an
it, I'm like,
M3 powertrain, so
Dude, it is definitely thick. But I think
yeah.
it looks so good from that picture I sent you in the parking lot.
so I've never had someone take a picture of my car in a parking lot and have it be such a damn good spotted photo. I was like, I haven't
So-
taken one that good yet.
You know, because I did photography for years, for car photography, it's kind of in my nature to get a good shot of cars. You tell me that about people, yeah. Toss it, throw it,
Yeah,
burn it,
nailed
throw
it with
away.
the car.
But dude,
we'll
on
post
cars,
it.
I'll have to post it here
Yeah.
when I go to edit it, if I go edit
It's
it.
a great photo.
Yeah, it's a Cal Ranch special.
Yeah, an X3M competition outside of Cal Ranch.
You know,
so fitting.
You know, I parked my like fucking cheap ass $800 Crown Vic right next to it. I felt poverty. I was like, man, I am nothing.
I got to
this thing-
spend $600 on a battery for that today.
Ooh,
It's cheaper to fix a Crown Vic.
Yeah,
pretty much what I paid for the damn thing.
yeah. I could have bought a Crown Vic for the price of that battery.
Wait, isn't that thing like a couple months old?
The battery in it was original.
What, how old is this car?
This car is a 2020.
Oh shit! What is it? I think this was like a 24. Oh my god.
Oh yeah, no,
Looks
the
that good?
24s are.
But dude, you could have fooled me. That would have fooled me. I thought that thing was a 24.
Oh yeah, no, that was a 20.
Oh fuck! I feel dumb now.
Anyway, so for this episode, I was kind of wondering, what did you guys' parents drive growing up? Like what did you have to pile
Yeah.
into
Oh,
every day?
bro, my dad was like this 7'9", 7'6" guy. Like he couldn't fit under a doorway.
Damn.
Like I'm tall. He still towered over me, and he was built like a lumberjack. It was scary, but he always had a thing for like the late 60s, mid 70s F100s or F150s, I guess, like the Rangers.
I loved the F100.
So like I remember when I was a kid, and I haven't talked to my dad in a long time or seen him. You know, cue the sad boy music. You know, don't have a dad around. He left for cigarettes and never came back.
Dad, why don't you
Oh,
love me,
gosh.
Dad?
You know, anyways, we're still friends. He talks to me on Facebook. It's okay. But one of the things that stuck out to me when I was a kid is one of his trucks caught fire because he used to haul lumber and wood.
An F-150?
Yeah, and it was an F-150.
Wait, the wood caught fire
No,
or
the truck caught fire
Oh,
because
okay.
apparently it was like I think the gas tank rubbed on something that involved fuel and it caught fire.
That'll do it.
And my mom still has like the VHS tapes of where they recorded the aftermath of this truck. I have
Wow.
like my parents first moved to this country, they videotaped everything, and I mean everything. So there's somewhere on some VHS tapes that I have to dig out and find. But that was my dad's last generation of that truck. And he just had a love for these single cab, long bed, like Ranger F-150s or whatever they are.
They were cheap.
And they look great.
And his thing
And
was
super
he
reliable.
really liked the glass round headlights, which I think were the early versions of those
Oh
trucks.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
He had like the biggest love for them. And then shortly after that, this was like early 2000s because, I was just barely conceived in the 90s kind
Sure,
of thing.
yeah. But only the 60s and 70s, none of the 80s models?
So after he had lost his truck in that fire, he started getting like an affinity for 90s Fords. Mind you, this was the early 2000s at this point, or
okay,
like
yeah.
late
Well,
98,
yeah, they were
99
cheap
kind of thing.
everywhere.
And I remember like I have a picture of him holding me in his hands. I might be able to throw it on the screen if I can find it. But he's holding me in his hands, and he's got
As a baby.
Yeah, as a baby, and he's got this badass F-150, like a 93 or 94, in brown
Square body
color.
still then.
Yeah.
Oh,
Old
wow.
body
Brown
style.
color,
Damn.
dude.
That's-
Was it two-tone or just
Just
solid?
I
brown?
want to say it was just a solid brown, like the one we have out in the parking lot.
I can't
okay.
even picture the brown.
Dude, it looks so right. And then I found out he ended up actually buying that truck to send to his dad in Mexico.
Oh, okay.
But my dad always had like these like weird things for older trucks.
Yeah.
So growing up, I had
You mainly remember the 90s
dude,
F-150.
I can
This up
remember
right
like
now.
most of the things that he had. Was like,
What kind of stuff did you guys have? Like, what did your mom drive?
so my mom actually drove. Funny enough, that white Ram I have, that 99.
Really?
Yeah, that was my dad bought that truck because she loved it.
The same one that you drive?
Yep.
Oh, okay.
So
So
he.
she had a V10 Ram?
Yep.
Badass.
Wow.
Yep, that Ram that I still have. I'll throw a picture here.
That your
For it.
interior is really good.
Oh,
in
dude, that
truck.
truck's like really well taken care of. Aside from the outside that my little brother has absolutely hammered over the life of it.
It happens.
My mom really liked that truck. I mean that generation, second gen Ram is really
Sure.
hard to beat for like looks, because no matter. I mean, fuck, dude, it's been 20 years and later, and that thing still looks
It
modern.
looks great.
When
yeah.
your entire interior doesn't fall apart.
Yeah, but you
Yeah.
know, I guess mine's still all together
Yeah.
because I take care of it.
Yeah.
But my mom drove that. That was like her truck. You know, like she liked that. And we also had like a 99 or 98 boxy GMC Yukon
Oh,
that was
okay,
lifted 6
Oh,
inches on
nice.
35s. This is the two-tone had like the but it had the two-tone. So like the top half of the Yukon was like a dark brown.
Okay, yeah.
And then the bottom half, or no, not a dark brown, it was like a dark, like a brown, tan, silver. But the bottom half was a dark blue, like on the bottom,
wow,
underneath,
that's
underneath the trim
Huh.
moldings. I'd never seen that done on any of that generation, but the thing was plush.
Yeah.
They bought it, you know, out of
Yeah,
Phoenix
those were nice cars.
on 35s. You got the like 15-inch wheels that are,
Oh, yeah.
they look like flames or some spokes or something like
Oh,
that that
yeah.
are like super rare to find now. And
What happened to it?
I,
Wrecked it?
my brother
Mm.
My brother decided to do a stupid and go roll it.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah,
happened.
he rolled it because he decided to drive on 335s and one stock wheel.
Oh, that was
and
that
going,
vehicle.
going
Yeah,
back to our
that'll-
breathalyzer
Oh,
day,
man.
breathalyzer conversation.
Decisions were made.
Yeah, he made some decisions and he decided to roll it. Believe it or not, we still own that Yukon. It sits outside of my mom's house. The roof is collapsed.
Oh, you guys kept it.
Yeah, we kept it.
Why didn't you scrap it?
Because
Wasn't worth anything.
it's family thing.
Could
Oh.
you make it into a convertible?
So we have it sitting at my mom's house. At some point, I'll figure out how to fix the roof. I'm not a body person, but we'll figure it out one way or another and make it back to its former glory. But like the interior is like a 10 out of 10 on it because it was taken care of. The mechanically sound. I mean, the whole thing was nice. Just my brother decided to do a decision that affected
Yeah.
Yeah.
how it works, and functions.
So was
Yeah.
that just all you guys had growing up? Just
No, dude, we like my dad. My dad, kind of one of the biggest reasons I got into this is my dad was always working on people's cars in our yard, and he was always had like the mechanic thing to him, like that shade tree mechanic.
Sure.
So he went through cars. He'd always flip them. He'd buy them, keep them. I mean, I can't tell you how many trucks my dad went through as a kid.
But all the same model, all
No.
F-150s,
Nope.
or really?
We're
Okay.
talking about second gens for the early '90s Fords, the early
Chevys, Dodges.
everything. Like,
Oh, okay.
Wow. So
it-
he didn't have a brand. He just
Oh,
liked
he-
it all.
dude, like I remember the first time he bought a second gen Ram was at a York here in Prescott, and it was a Sport.
Brand new.
It was a white Sport 1500, brand new.
Huh.
And he had the body kit added on to it, the 90s body kit, and then the window louvers on
yeah.
the back windows
yeah.
and stuff like
Oh,
that.
yeah.
Tonneau cover. I mean, just right for this truck.
So all these trucks that he had coming in and out, were they brand new, or did he just buy and sell
So
stuff?
he used to buy and
or-
sell stuff. He very rarely got any new things. Like that was one of the newer things he
Oh,
got.
okay.
Hell, I still have all of his 89 450 3500 still in the family.
Oh, okay.
A lot of the cars that he had before he left us,
Mm-hmm.
we still have, and
Nice.
I treasure them because
That's rare.
I treasure them
Yeah.
because that was a big part of my family.
Well,
you know?
and when I start telling my stories, that's not. I don't think that's the case with anybody. I
Yeah,
think
like-
most cars end up
Yeah.
in one way or another gone.
And I talk to people about this all the time. The cultural differences, because being Mexican, there's
Sure, yeah.
we tend to hold on to things quite a bit.
Isn't there more like pride in the vehicles too, or there's more of a connection? I've heard
So
that.
it's a big family thing. I mean, I'm not saying that not every culture doesn't have family things, but like in like the Mexican heritage and stuff like that, we do hold on to things quite long, and we do really care about a lot of family things, like extremely close.
Well, and I'm sure it like especially expensive items.
Yeah,
that is a vehicle.
and I mean
yeah.
2000s, dude. I mean, my dad's '89 Chevy would have been 10 years old
Yeah.
in 2000, which is wild
Yeah.
to think because now I'm like,
Oh my god.
it's like 30-something years old.
Well, yeah, and
Yeah.
back then you could have gotten an '89 for $500.
Yeah, and you know,
just take it off my hands.
And I remember he bought the '89 because he needed a motor, so he took a motor of an '85 or '84 or '85 Suburban and put it in the thing.
Huh.
You know, he made it work.
Yeah.
Hey, yeah.
So again, my dad went through this whole thing of buying, selling cars. He had lowrider trucks too, like S10s on hydraulics and wire wheels.
Is there
with the
anything
cool
that
paint.
you like remember being your favorite, or something that you really like thought of as like, oh, this car is cool? Seeing my dad work on this.
He bought an '88 IROC.
Oh, nice.
Fuck.
Yeah, Def
Dude, it was
Leppard tapes,
blue.
Motley Crue,
Bro, it was blue.
leather jacket, and Marlboro lights.
I remember him like tuning the thing up in our driveway because he had a tree that he'd park everything
Yeah.
under and do everything he did. He started up. I'm like,
Those are such
Man.
good
What color
looking
was it?
cars.
it was
too.
like it was like a dark blue. It was like a
Oh,
like
yeah,
a middle
yeah, the
between
classic.
dark and
Yeah.
it was a nice blue.
Yeah.
No window tint with the T-tops.
Those were the Camaros in the middle
gray.
of like emissions, weren't they? Those were pretty choked up, I think.
They
I
were
remember.
terrible. They made like
Yeah.
180 horse,
Yeah.
like out of a 350.
Yeah. out of a
Yeah,
350.
they made
But-
some noise, but
Dude, but I remember
Yeah,
just as a
180.
kid, I think I was like 6 or 7. No, I might have been 5. But I remember just sitting there after he's like, "Hey, go sit in it. I'm gonna start it up." I'm like, "Okay." I sat and I'm like, "Cool, all these
Yeah.
buttons I can touch."
Badass.
Dude, I remember that was like what stuck out to me was that Camaro. Out of all things,
I
Yeah, that's
mean
cool.
that would stick
Yeah,
out
yeah,
to me
that's-
too.
which
That's
which
a
is wild
great
because I remember
ride.
he took the T-tops off because he couldn't fit in the thing.
Oh my gosh,
Oh,
his
so
head's like
his head
poked out.
Yeah.
stuck above
yeah.
the thing. Yeah.
And then he used to always wear a cowboy hat, so
Nice. So
It was
even
like the
taller.
So yeah, so
It's
he
like-
had to put it in the seat.
yeah, it's
so it
like the
didn't blow
cheap
away.
version of Smoking the Bandit. So
Nice.
nope, here we go again.
There
Somebody
we
trying
go.
to come in.
It
Nope, we're
is
just
the
gonna-
second
nope,
podcast.
Just leave it. Just leave it. Just
so
leave it.
We're gonna get 2, and
Yeah.
then next time it'll be 3, and the numbers
Yep.
will just keep going up from there.
If you don't talk to him, we're gonna have a problem.
Who is? Let me look. I don't know who it is.
It's the kid that wants to go work in your shop for the rest of today.
Oh, he can figure it out.
Yeah.
Yeah, he can figure it out. When we go on air and do all these podcasts, I make sure everybody.
No one's watching this shit anyway.
Yeah, actually, believe it or not, we got more viewers than I thought we'd get.
Thank you.
But it's just one of those things that every time we do these podcasts, I give everybody a heads
yeah,
up
phones
of it.
ringing,
Just
knocking
come
on
get
the
your
door.
cars before we go on air.
Yeah. We
Yeah.
should put a sign out there.
I-
Recording.
dude,
Shut the hell up.
Here's the problem. People don't read.
Oh yeah.
That's
So-
fair,
yeah.
If I can put a coloring book there, then maybe they'll find the way to get to the sign that says "Don't disturb." We're
Yeah.
on air. But
People, man.
I mean, we had that with the phone call earlier.
Yeah,
I mean,
it happens.
I mean, it happens all the time. We're just not even gonna bother editing this out. We're just gonna keep like an eternal ticker for how many we have.
Yeah, like I said, we got what 1 for podcast 1. Now we're at podcast 2. So
And we've
there's
had 2.
Yeah.
So next Friday there'll be 3.
3's a charm, dude. 3's
Yeah,
a party.
when
And
we
once
get to
it
our
gets
100th
ridiculous,
once
yeah.
it's our 100th episode, you won't even be able to tell what the fuck we're talking about.
Yeah, we're just gonna it's just gonna be a phone ringing and then knocking. That's gonna be the whole podcast for 2 hours.
Yeah, I don't.
Oh no, it's an
know.
old woman.
Oh, hold on. Let me check my phone. Y'all keep going.
Yeah. So
So what about you, Nelson? What did you grow up? What is the earliest car you remember your parents driving?
So I remember that my dad, he had I don't know what generation it was, but it was the Audi S4.
Do you remember what year?
I think it was a 2004.
Okay.
And that thing, or somewhere between the 90s and 2004. I would say it was no newer than a 2004. But that was he was kind of a car guy then. My dad's not really into cars, but at that point in time, he actually seemed to be. Because that's an enthusiast car. And now, I mean, only enthusiasts
Bro.
own those.
Well, what age do you go back to remembering that vehicle? Like how young are we talking?
pretty
here?
young.
Yeah.
I mean, I was
Bro,
Under
I hadn't met
10
your dad
under 10
until
years
this
old.
last weekend at Cars and Coffee.
Oh, that was my father-in-law.
Was it your father-in-law?
Yeah. So he is
Oh.
actually a car
Oh,
guy.
because I was about to say if this
And a
can't be
character.
the same guy, because homeboy over there was all about
he was
what
all
was going
into it,
on about
yeah.
like this guy Fox.
Yeah. Yeah, he's a character, but he is a legend too. But yeah, my dad, that was probably the most enthusiast car he ever owned, because after that, I remember
Ford
he
Pinto.
traded it in for he traded it in actually for a Volvo SUV.
Interesting.
Okay,
So
like
he went
an
from an
XC30
S4
or whatever.
Something like that. Yeah.
This
It
is
was
death traps.
pretty reliable. I mean, he gave it to
Well,
his
yeah,
brother,
it's a
and
Volvo.
yeah, I think it went over 200K or something like that.
What'd your mom drive?
She actually drove a Volvo. She
Oh,
had.
so you had 2 Volvos at one
Volvo.
time?
We were kind of a Volvo house.
Weird.
So
Like
we
those
went
weird people
from
have like 8 Corollas in their driveway.
Yeah.
yeah. So she actually had this sport wagon. It had so it was white.
Turbo?
Kind of a body kit. Yeah.
Nice.
And so
you know they use those for drifting now.
I believe it.
The square body, like the more square,
So
rounded bodies.
It was right. Yes, it was right after the full blown square body. So they went from that
Oh.
full blown square body
was a
into almost
740, I
like
wanna
a
say.
rounded kind of style.
She had the rounded
I
one.
think it was like a V70 or
XC70, you think?
yeah.
Or
I'll,
something
I'll
like
have
that?
to do some digging to see what it
Oh,
was.
okay.
I never really had my Volvo.
Somebody will throw a picture up
stuff
here.
like
Yeah.
It was a beautiful car, and I gave her crap for it. Like I'd be like,
This
oh.
isn't cool, Mom.
I'd be like, Mom, everyone else's mom drives a Suburban. And I'm like, why don't we get a big Suburban? And I'm like, God, that was
I miss station
significantly
wagons.
cooler than a Suburban.
why don't they make
Significantly.
station wagons
You know-
anymore?
Speaking of
Apparently,
station
they don't
wagons.
sell.
Dude, have you not
Weird.
met somebody who owns a Ford Flex?
I've never met anyone who owns a Ford Flex.
If you meet them, they're like the reason those things were selling at what they were selling.
I've
'cause they
heard
buy
those
like
are
3 or
quick.
4 of them.
I've heard you can make those pretty fast.
I kind of wanted one in high
Dude,
school.
they're so roomy.
Yeah, they're kind of cool.
Yeah.
I mean,
I'm like, why would you stop selling something like that?
yeah.
Those Ford Flexes are cool. And the inside running joke is I had a friend who owned one, and every time she'd pull up, I'm like, damn, you flexing on us?
You ever seen that?
Every single time.
What is it? That vampire show?
Twilight.
Oh man.
Adam's Family.
No, I'm like, oh yeah, that vampire show. There's like 1,000 vampire shows.
Yeah.
This fits the spooky vibes.
Yeah, we'll put up like a little picture of like the name of it, because
When
I'll
we can
find it
figure out what the
eventually.
hell it
Yeah,
we can
is,
figure it
yeah.
out.
I'll
But
remember in like a day or two.
we do have some spooky decorations going on in the back there. See my little pumpkin back there? Spooky season.
I'm very scared.
Anyway, so your mom drove the Volvo wagon. Your dad
Yes.
also bought a Volvo.
Yeah, so
did
we
they
had
just
two.
keep those for a while, or did they eventually get a new car?
there were
Yeah,
Norwegian
and
businessmen and women.
It's kind of sad because, well, I guess it wasn't sad. The Volvos were nice cars, but I was brought home I believe from the hospital, I came back home in an E36 sedan.
That's fucking cool.
Badass.
The thing I came home in, I'll tell that story later. Bullshit.
Yeah.
You were so upset about it years later.
Oh man, yeah, I'm pretty proud to have come. I'm 90% sure it was in an E36, and I think my mom had the coupe version or something like that, and then they got the family version, and then after that she got her Volvo. I'm pretty sure that was the order, and yeah, what did my dad get after?
So you mean you didn't get delivered home in a stork?
Not that I know of.
That's
no,
fucking
I know that's
stupid.
most people, isn't it?
That's fucking stupid.
Whose fault was that? Disney?
And, yeah.
Who knows? But yeah, so after those cars, so I guess they started with the BMWs, and then my dad got into that S4, mom got into that Volvo, dad got rid of the Audi, went into the Volvo SUV.
So you got into something reliable.
Yeah. Well, then he got rid of the Volvo SUV and went about as unreliable as you possibly can
bought a
into
Ford?
an LR3 Land Rover.
Ugh.
I absolutely
Ugh.
loved that car, but
You loved the Land Rover?
my gosh, it
They-
was plush.
They
it
had
looked
great
good.
interiors.
It was that like army green, like it was that dark
Oh,
green
yeah,
color.
yeah.
it was an HSE, so it was just
Dude,
all
I-
the
what,
bells
year,
and
what year?
whistles.
What year was it?
That was a. Oh man, I don't remember.
Because my grandmother currently owns a '93 Land Rover HSE.
Is it a LR3?
I don't believe so. It's got the 4.6 in it. Whatever engine they took that from. It is piss slow.
Yeah, because it's a Ford
Oh
engine.
yeah, this one was fast.
Oh, okay.
So
yeah.
I think it was a twin.
Was it supercharged? I think it was supercharged in those ones.
Yeah, I don't remember.
I don't remember the
I do
LR3.
remember distinctly the belt was always squeaking. So we'd bring it to Land Rover, fix it. It would be
Wow,
good
so
for
you
like
guys
2
had
months.
money.
Yeah.
Bringing it back to the dealership to work on stuff.
Uh,
Oh man.
I grew up
Fuck.
pretty fancy.
Wow.
My grandfather had an investment company and sold it, and then my dad was able to start
Too Richie Rich over here.
his what was his company? His architect company, kind of like through that, and
So in 2008, you guys were just fucked, weren't you?
No, they probably were responsible and knew how to manage their money, unlike a lot of people.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think everyone took a hit, but I don't think it affected us as bad. But also, I was not. That wasn't on my radar at
Also,
all.
dude, you got to remember everybody.
White.
I was playing Xbox.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, you're
I was
you're
saying,
winning.
I was playing
White
Xbox
and
fucking
rich.
then.
Yeah.
But in 2008, because I talked to so much people about this, especially in like real estate. You talk to a real estate agent, the first thing they're going to
Well, it
talk
was a
about.
housing
man,
crisis. Yeah.
Yeah, everybody's like a housing crisis. Like, okay, in 2008, people were literally getting loans for farting.
Subprime
Yeah.
mortgages.
They're
Yeah.
literally getting loans for fucking just showing up. You know, like breathe and you get a loan.
Yeah.
That's the problem. That's why getting loans today is a whole different deal. I can go on in a financial deal with that.
And that's
fucking
fucking
ages.
boring. So we're gonna go back to talking about the Land Rover. So
Fuck
would you guys have what'd you guys
Stunks.
have after that?
Stunks.
So yeah, after the Land Rover, and that was actually my first car. So he held on to it.
You like took over the Land Rover. And,
Yes,
Okay.
and
so
then I
how
fell
old are you?
asleep driving.
16,
Jumped at
16
every
now?
chance he could.
So I got into some legal trouble and couldn't get my license for a little bit longer. So I don't think I actually started until I was like almost 18. I was probably
Was it
17.
for doing burnouts?
No, it was.
Did you run over another curb in another Ram?
Maybe for the reason I did. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, so I actually could have just gone and done it myself, but my parents kind of were trying to punish me for my.
Fuck you, mom and dad.
Yeah, I really
God
could have
damn
just had
it.
I could have just had a friend bring me to the DMV
My
and just
friends are
get my
driving,
license.
yeah.
I don't understand what the holdup really was in my mind, but I was like, oh no, I can't do it. 'cause
Just
my
that
parents
bad
won't
boy.
let me.
Bad boy vibes.
So you had an LRV
Rebellious.
as a first vehicle.
Yeah, it was the LR3 HSE. It was awesome. I would race like friends, like we'd.
The breakdown ever?
You
Always.
know, well, it didn't break down until I crashed it.
That'll happen. You'll get that.
Yeah, I fell asleep driving the car on a long straightaway, and I woke up to hitting the curb, coming to, and then I just saw a pole right in front of me.
Oh, damn.
So imagine waking up, moving towards a huge street lamp, and I was able to move out of the way just in time, but the side of the car still hit that post. And it actually
On the passenger side?
on the passenger side.
Oh, okay.
All the lights inside the car fell out of their like sockets and stuff
Yeah.
like that. And
Damn, you got
I
a thing
ripped
for
off
hitting
the whole
curbs.
front axle. Like I mean,
Wow.
like the whole.
Well, they totaled it, right? Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, they
I
did.
mean-
it's a
So,
Land Rover. You're not going to pay for that.
Yeah, they. I think my dad did have the option to actually like fix
Buy it from the insurance
Yeah,
company.
and he wishes he did actually.
Salvage title,
Look,
yeah.
that was one of his favorite
Yeah,
cars.
no big deal. I'll get it home. It's got no front axle.
Would you drive after that?
So I went from that into a F-150.
What year?
2012. So actually, I had a brand new 2012 F-150 in high school,
Wow.
which I drowned in a river.
Okay, we got to hear about this one now.
So I would go off.
So I fell asleep again.
So I fell
and
asleep again. I woke up, and this time I was wet.
Hit a
Bro,
curb.
the
and-
marijuanas were involved.
This, God, I wish I had a better reason. It was just being dumb. But I would
like
take it
that.
off-roading because I really wanted to have like an off-road capable truck. And so the 4X4 on the side of my truck in my brain
meant
was
that it goes anywhere.
it goes
Oh, yeah.
everywhere.
The
4X4.
fucking tank.
It was just it was a Lariat F-150. You know, it's kind of like the lawyer model. It was just kind of classy and
So like
not
20-inch
off-roady at
wheels
all.
on it with zero tread on the
It
tires.
had the chrome package and
Damn,
stupid
that's
shit.
what you want a 4x in.
Exactly.
Exactly what you want to do.
4x and comfort.
Dude.
But
leather.
that thing had street tires on it. I would take it through sand, mud, water all the time, and
The motherfucker could fly. He'd be flying
It's
it.
a 4x4.
yeah. And I would go out with guys who actually had like capable lifted vehicles and such. And so I actually got through a lot of stuff in that thing. That thing handled, some situations better than maybe it should had, which was awesome. But The last time I took it out off-roading, we had this big rainstorm. I would take it out to New Jersey. I lived in Pennsylvania at the time. In New Jersey, there was this kind of like, it was a big forest and it was sandy. So it wasn't like dirt out there, but it was like this kind of like packed and then loose sand.
Well, New Jersey's on the coast.
Yeah. So I'm going through there, and we're like, damn, like there's a little bit more water kind of in some of these little spots. Because usually you're blasting through kind of like some puddles.
Quicksand,
Yeah, like it's a
wasn't
fucking Ford commercial.
Yeah. And so we're making it through pretty much most of the day. And so there's these guys with their, at the time, and I'm sure it still happens, they have these, they're lifted like 3 feet. You gotta like climb a ladder to get into the truck.
Somebody's
Monster truck.
gonna fucking throw down a rope ladder.
They dig out the holes, so they'll go into the spot where there's water, and then they just burn out and dig the holes. Because I'm going through, and I immediately knew when I hit that spot, because I'm going through this like I could actually see the road. It was the last piece of the trail before
Just trying to
you
make
got
it back
back
on
to the
tarmac.
road. Yeah, and I'm like, well, the road's right there. If I just blast through this, there we
problem.
go.
Yeah.
No problem.
It's like that mirage when it's hot out. It's like, oh yeah, it's right there.
Totally. I just saw the asphalt, and I'm like, okay, well, I could go back,
Full fucking send.
and it's like 40 minutes of off-roading, and then I
just
got to go back through
Dukes
some
of
shit
Hazzard
that already
jumped
almost
this
killed
fucking
me.
pit.
I'm already envisioning this. He just fucking
Yep,
pedal
gave her the
all the
beans,
way.
Nose straight down.
full floor. I come roaring in. I hit that water, and I remember it felt like you ever like been in like a boat where they like drop it off the ramp and on into the water?
Oh yeah.
So like you kind of like hit the water and then you just kind of like plane onto it. So that's what happened with the truck.
Oh
So
yeah.
I hit the water, plane onto it, and then it's going, and then all of a sudden I felt like the wheels fall,
oh shit.
and
yeah.
it just started to sink in the front.
Oh, fuck.
And I'm just watching the water level come up to like the level of the hood, and I'm just like,
Dude,
oh
you start
shit.
freaking
Shit,
panicking.
yeah.
And
Now
then-
you undo everything.
Yeah, my
Out.
like buddy's like yelling at me, and I could have sworn he was screaming, "Shut it off! Shut it off!
Well, yeah.
Shut it
yeah,
off!"
You don't want to like hydrolock it. Yeah.
But the thing is, he was saying, "Don't shut it off! Don't shut it off! Don't shut it
Oh,
off!"
so you killed it.
And so I turned it off,
Oh.
and then I was like, "Oh, he said no, turn it back on." And in a panic, I turn it on,
Killed
and then
your whole
everything.
fucking thing. Yeah.
hydrolocked.
Done.
Yeah.
And I got to be pulled back by a Dodge that was 10 years older than my truck. Also clapped. And
The
so
fucking
my
dashboard's
beautiful
gone.
Ford is being pulled by it was like a 2-foot chain where I'm now, and we were also 40 minutes from
Some guy
from,
named
like,
Billy
where we
Bob or
live.
something.
Yeah.
Pretty much. But I'm getting towed on this short chain, which I think did it snap? No, it held. That chain held. The chain that I pulled him out with earlier snapped and then smacked my tailgate. So nice chain slap.
Damn.
But yeah, I got to be pulled home about 40 minutes on that 2-foot chain behind that Ram, and we went to his buddy's shop to try to just assess the damage, and
Doctor came back and said it was fucked.
yes. We tried to get it warranted, but of course they were like,
laughed
We
in your
don't
face.
warranty you
no.
putting this in a fucking pond.
Yeah.
They fucking
So,
laughed at you all
Damn
the
you,
way.
Ford.
Ford had that truck for like 8 months.
Fixing it?
Yeah.
What was
'cause
the bill on that?
I don't even remember.
Too much?
Too much. And I got it back, and it kept having issues after I got it back, which
Yeah,
no
surprise,
wonder.
you submerged
That's
the
a little
fucking
weird.
thing
Yeah.
in water.
Who would have
Weird.
fucking thought?
And so I brought it to BMW, and I was like, hey,
Sell me
Runs
this.
and drives great.
I have
Yeah.
this
I've
Ford
got trade-in.
F-150, clean title. the
Never
guy-
been rained on.
Yeah.
So funny
Garage
enough,
kept.
I like knowing all the shit about this truck, and I'm done with this truck at this point. So I'm like, I fucking ruined it. There's no
did it
bringing
drive
back.
itself to the BMW dealership?
Oh yeah,
Oh,
yeah. So it
With
was.
all the Christmas lights
It went
on.
in and out of the shop for a while, and I think after like the 3rd or 4th time, it was. It may have actually been good after that.
You're just
somehow.
over it.
But I was like, you know what? Time to move on. This thing.
Yeah.
Whatever. And the F-150 actually had some other issues too. So like when
Well,
I
yeah, it's an
purchased it,
F-150.
well, yeah. But the whole wiring harness had to get replaced.
Oh,
3,000
yeah.
miles in.
Yeah, you told me that. Yeah.
Yeah, 3,000 miles. So that was a great start.
Fucking Ford.
And I guess that was an issue at the time with those trucks. The early, so like 2012 to 13, 14. It was just like a few years of this issue. Apparently, maybe people were just trying to make me feel better.
Dude, I remember when Ford would have like that. Quality is our number one job.
Oh man.
And I always laugh whenever I see that.
And it's because it's absolutely not true.
That it's like dead
Yeah.
last.
Do they still say built tough? Did they get over that?
Who fucking knows? Although, dude, let's on the topic of that, the '90s truck commercials and the early 2000s truck commercials were like Alan Jackson,
Oh, they were
Oh,
badass,
yeah.
Toby Keith and shit,
Yeah.
bro.
They were
Built
good.
like a rock.
They were
Or
good.
nobody could fucking. You just don't have that vibe
Yeah.
anymore, at all.
Oh yeah. No.
We need more commercials like that. But anyways, Joe, let's talk about you.
Well,
Oh God, here comes sob story. Let me get.
so lot of Fords in this history.
Well, shocker.
So, before I was born, my dad had grown up in a very small town in Wyoming, and his first car was like the OJ Bronco, 4x4,
yeah.
4x4 manual.
I love me some OJ Broncos.
I think his was the two-tone white and blue, though.
Oh,
Just a super nice car. Anyway, he gets together with my mom, and I was conceived at some point,
in the OJ Bronco.
and
In the fucking Bronco, dude.
somewhere in between those two things happening, he had to get rid of the Bronco. As soon as I was born, I forgot how he was getting to and from work, but he was like, oh shit, I need a vehicle. By the way, I was born a month and a half early, and I think I died twice.
Holy shit.
Oh, what a
Yeah.
living legend over here.
Oh yeah.
Damn.
So I was born in this small town in Wyoming, but because it's a small ass hick town, they don't have the kind of medical equipment needed
Yeah.
to keep
we don't like
a
your kind
a
around
newborn
here.
baby alive. So they fly me on a plane to Salt Lake City,
Oh shit.
and not
The
only
Mormons
did they
took care
fly
of
me
you.
on a plane. Who was vice president for Bush? That was Cheney, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cheney was at the airport, and they told him like, my mom
But he,
just
like-
gave birth, and that we needed to get the fuck out of here. And he actually cleared our plane to take off, and he like waited
Wow.
for his plane to take
Thanks,
off.
Dick.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Thanks, Dick. That's
Thanks-
the first
thanks,
time
Dick.
we like, a dick doing a good thing.
Yeah. Wow. What a nice dick.
Yeah. Great Dick.
Great dick.
Yeah. Super fun to be around, Anyway,
World's
so
greatest
he
dick.
he clears the plane to leave, but my parents are piss fucking broke. So my dad finishes his day at work, wild, but I get it. And he went to the nearest dealership and said, "I want the absolute cheapest 4x4 manual that you have on the lot." And he walked away with a 1997 F-150. Just after they transitioned from the OBS.
Oh, okay,
So
yeah.
he's got the first year of that bubbly, shitty body look.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Hated those
Hey,
years.
Quit,
They're
quit,
so
quit
ugly.
hating on that. Homeboy over here driving a Lightning. Quit hating.
The Lightnings were the only exception
Yeah.
to those. But so he bought this 97 F-150 to make the drive from Wyoming down to Salt Lake City. And,
He only broke down 3 times on the way there.
well, at that point, I was born in 02, so it was only a couple of years old. What, 5 years old?
Holy shit, you're born in 02?
I was born
Yeah.
in 02.
Holy
that'd
fuck,
be
that means he doesn't.
5
He,
years.
5
was,
years
he
old, yeah.
wasn't around for 9/11 then.
I was not.
Oh, missed
So,
out.
so yeah, so my mom went to the hospital. He drove down in the 97 F-150, and for the it's sitting in my house right now.
The
Oh,
same
wow.
truck?
The same truck.
Why aren't you
That-
driving it?
He brought me because it's a 97 F-150.
Bro, but that's like,
I'll bring it to the shop one of these
bro,
days.
like that's a family heirloom at that
Absolutely. So he buys that truck, drives it to the hospital. Time moves on. Grow up a little bit. The first car that I actually somewhat vaguely remember, and this is where we start getting to the funny parts of this story.
Oh boy.
My mom had.
There's funny parts?
Yeah, I forget the year, but my mom had a purple Ford Explorer.
Wow.
The square body style
Damn.
before they got.
purple.
Yeah,
We're
before they.
Post Malone up in here.
You remember that Eddie Bauer Explorer that was here? That I was drooling over,
Oh,
the
yeah,
all-wheel
yeah,
drive
yeah,
with the
yeah,
5
like
liter.
that?
Yeah,
Like that?
it was that body
It was
style.
like a 95, wasn't it?
I don't remember those
Yeah.
body years, but
Yeah.
purple.
Wow.
Nice.
And being Wyoming, it snows all the fucking time. It's
So it's
cold.
rustier than rust.
Not
Yeah.
even rust, but we were driving, and this is my earliest memory. Like, I can't think back farther than this. We were driving somewhere. She hits a patch of black ice and puts this fucking thing in the guardrail.
Not the purple thing.
Oh yeah, just totals the
Fuck,
motherfucker.
she told
Damn.
Barney.
Yeah, and
Poor
so
Barney.
a passing truck. I don't remember what they were driving. I think it was a Dodge. Picked us up, took us to the hospital. We got in contact with everybody else, and things happen the way they happen. Her next car was a '99 Expedition in silver.
So a big ass fucking whale of an
Just
SUV.
a big ass SUV.
That was pretty much a F-150. Just
Absolutely. So
Dude,
she,
those
yeah,
things
so
are
she
fucking
she had the
huge for the
she
time.
had the '99 Expedition. My dad had the F-150. So yeah, we were a Ford family. For
Nice.
the
Speaking
most
of
part.
which, we'll sidetrack real quick. Have you guys seen the SVT Thunder or whatever?
yes.
It was
So-
a concept.
Uh,
wasn't
Yeah.
it?
a guy made one on the Lightning group the other day. I
Yeah,
was
I think I
doing
know
some
the
I,
guy.
I
scrolling.
have seen it. Yeah.
Yeah.
This guy actually made it. He got a custom badge too. So where the Lightning badge would be on the Lightning, he
Yep.
put that on the Expedition, and
Yeah.
it says Thunder.
Those things are fucking
And
Wait,
so
sweet.
we put
what's up with that? Thunder, lightning, cyclone,
So-
typhoon.
So they used to have SVT back in the day. Used to have a Ford Ranger with a flare side bed, so a step side bed.
Yeah.
That they had put a 5.4 out of a Lightning in.
Okay.
The same motor, and they called it the Lightning Bolt.
Oh, that's
And it had
funny.
lightning
man,
wheels.
concept.
Bro, I'll have to pull this up. I'm gonna throw a picture up here.
So this was a concept.
It was an actual truck they were going to push into production, but the powers that be said no. Just like when they were trying to do the SVT Thunderbird, that had a 4.6 dual overhead cam 4-valve
Oh, damn.
supercharged.
I didn't realize that they were even.
But that was scrapped because that was supposed to be a 1998 model year Thunderbird, and they scrapped the whole program right then there on its conception, which
Oh, man.
paved the way for the Marauders. Not
Oh,
long after,
okay.
Yeah.
which is kind of insane. But I'll look this up while you guys keep going.
Yeah.
So yeah, anyway, she had the '99 Expedition, and for a while, that was just what they had. Dad had the F-150, she had the Expedition. My dad was working construction at that point, so he needed the pickup.
That's appropriate.
to just get wherever they were going. My mom drove this big ass Suburban tank, which the AC went out in. Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, it's
thing
pretty sweet.
Fucking,
That was a concept they never made that, right?
they actually made a few
Yeah.
of these,
Oh,
if I remember
okay.
right. If
I don't
if
think you can own them and have them street legal. Though.
No, but look at that. It's got
Yeah.
lightning wheels.
Yeah, it's neat.
Dude,
It's cool.
all about it.
So yeah, the '99 Expedition, I really remember going to and from school in. But the thing is that it would always overheat, and instead of fucking fixing it, my mom would just turn the heater on so you could get some extra cooling through the heater core.
Oh my gosh.
So it was always so fucking hot coming home from school. It was so annoying. So she drove that for a while, and then a family friend of ours ended up going through some shit, and they needed a vehicle. And at that point, my parents bought another car for my grandparents. It was a '97 Toyota Corolla. It was red.
So you mean an indestructible car?
Yes. And my mom fucking destroyed it.
Oh wow.
Well, she didn't. So Expedition's
Breathalyzer
gone.
involved?
Went to some friends. I actually never saw that car again. It ended up either getting sold by them or however they ended up doing it. So my mom drove this Corolla around for a little bit. It was actually the family vehicle. It was good on gas. I think this thing's
yeah.
got like 30 miles to the gallon or
did.
something like that. But super bare bones, automatic Corolla. It was red and it's Arizona, so it's sun faded to hell. But the interior was really good.
But it was a Corolla, so it would never die.
Yeah, exactly. And they bought that for my grandparents. And then bringing pizza home one night for all of us to eat, my mom was going, and she had the green light. So technically she didn't wreck this thing, but some drunk guy ran the red light and just T-boned the shit out of her.
You think you got a breathalyzer after?
I don't know what happened to him, but I
Sound
hope
like
that
it.
he was never allowed to drive again. Because he was completely fine. Both my mom and sister went to the hospital.
Oh,
fuck.
man. That's
Yeah.
usually how it goes. The drunk person is usually okay because they're so limp.
Yeah.
You know?
They're like a
Yeah.
noodle.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was just a really good looking Toyota Corolla. I don't remember how many miles were on it, but it was great.
It wouldn't matter if there was 10 miles on the thing or 10 million. It would have probably ran the same
Oh,
exact
yeah.
way.
Yeah.
And my dad still has this fucking F-150.
How many
So
miles are on this thing? I'm curious.
the F-150,
Yeah.
right now, the last I drove it, it had 199.
Fuck, that thing's still a baby.
199, huh? Yeah.
And
Is
yeah,
it still in pretty good
it's-
condition?
Nah, I'll bring it by the shop. It needs
Yeah.
the wheel bearings are bad.
We'll have to retouch on that then for the next podcast. We'll get some pictures and take a look at it.
Yeah, we can put the actual truck up. I'll just
Yeah.
take pictures of it.
Yeah.
So yeah, the Corolla died, unfortunately. Around the same time, actually, my aunt on my dad's side met us at the hospital while they were doing everything, and she was driving a 2006 Toyota Camry. that they ended up keeping for a little bit, but then sold to my parents after the Corolla died.
10-year upgrade Corollas
Yeah.
and Camrys.
So the Camry came back with us, and my mom drove that for, I think, up until I started driving at 16.
Dude,
Huh.
that generation of like Camrys and Corollas, like that 07, 08,
I forgot a car.
fucking go forever, and you see them everywhere, and they still hold all their value.
Oh yeah.
They're
I
fucking
forgot a
insane.
car. So
Oh.
Corolla dies. I think we moved shortly after that. I don't remember another vehicle of us having. We moved homes. My grandparents had a 2008. What was the Jaguar sedan that they were making at that time?
XJR?
XJ.
I believe that's right. Yeah, with like the 4 lights in the front.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gotta be an
And
XJR.
the emblem.
Those actually look good
I didn't like it.
in my opinion.
I didn't like it. So my grandparents had that car, and they sold it to my parents. So my dad was driving a fucking XJR
Nice.
from 2008
Was
for
it
a
one
while.
of the supercharged ones?
No,
Oh.
no, and it burned oil horrifically.
Oh,
It is
as
a
they do.
Jag.
Yeah.
And I remember
That was like the worst gen.
Yeah, and I remember like going through town, like you know how burnt oil, like it's got like almost like a corn smell to it, like burnt popcorn almost,
Gross.
because it would come through the AC vents, so then the
Ooh,
whole car
yeah.
would just stink like.
As soon as
Just
you
burning
use the
oil.
AC or anything that involved that,
You know,
it just smelled
they
like
actually make an
burning oil.
LS swap kit for that car.
Yeah, and make
That would be fucking.
Peyton
900%
wants to do one with my
more.
5.3.
I mean, didn't Roadkill do something like that where they put this fucking gigantic engine in one of those XJRs or something like that?
Oh, I haven't
Like a
seen
big
that.
ass
I don't
stick
remember.
like sticking out of the
But
fucking
dude,
hood.
Because my grandparents owned it, that interior was like sitting on a couch, dude. Like
Yeah, because nobody ever sat in the
leather-
back seat.
They had a perfect tint on it, so the sun wasn't ruining
Nice.
it, and the leather was plush, and it was really nice to sit in. I never got to drive that car.
Oh man.
What a shame.
Yeah,
Yeah.
my great grandfather actually had the same car.
Really?
Yeah.
Red?
It was black.
Ours was red.
Yeah.
Every time I think of that generation, I think of like a dark green.
Yeah.
Yeah, like a real
That's
classic.
very
color.
Anytime
Jaguar,
anyone thinks
yeah.
of Jaguars, yeah, it's dark green.
Dark green,
Yeah,
British
very-
racing green, or whatever they call it.
Yeah.
Not to
so,
be confused with Lotus.
Yeah. So my dad has I don't want to say it's a habit because he's being cool about it, but whenever like anybody he works with, like a coworker or anything, has like a hard time or like they're going through some shit, he'll just give them a car. So
Oh, that's nice.
so
to
he,
be fair, he also owns a minivan that
Yeah.
the words on the back glass say, "I used to be cool."
he used to be cool.
Proper.
So he ended up giving this Jaguar away to just somebody that was in need of a vehicle or something. And I think I don't know if it's still around. I thought I saw it around. Around that time, we got the Sienna, the one that you've seen.
I love
just
that
because
sticker.
it fit everybody in it. Then we got the Camry. We got the Camry and the Sienna at the same time. So Jaguar left, then we got the Camry and the Sienna. And then the Sienna ended up being the daily for my parents for a while because they worked together at the same place before they divorced. Thanks, Mom and Dad. So they drove the Sienna for a while, so the Camry kind of just sat. And the F-150 is still around.
Is
It
this
ended
the
up.
Camry that you talked about chopping the muffler off?
That was my first car.
Oh man!
Yeah, a
Look at that, it all
2006 Toyota
connects
Camry, yeah.
together.
And my dad's F-150 is just sitting in the weeds at this point, but it's still around.
Oh come on, Joe! You gotta keep the tradition going.
I'll bring it by.
The thing needs some like spinners on it.
Well, and
Oh, boy.
speaking of first cars, I actually learned how to drive manual in that 97 F-150 that my dad had.
It's a Manuel.
Yeah, manual 4x.
Oh shit!
So the truck that he brought me home from the hospital in was the truck I learned how to drive manual on.
That's a pretty
Wow.
cool story.
And
Actually.
and I always asked him, I was like, Dad, why is this truck always sitting in the weeds? Why don't you get rid of it? And he's like, it's not worth anything. It's worth more to me as a running, driving pickup truck than cash in my wallet because I couldn't get much for it. And that was always why it stuck around.
So it's like Kevin, my other employee. He brought his, I believe he brought his twins home, or his oldest, I can't remember, home in his 71 C10 or 72.
That's
And a
badass.
Yeah,
C10.
and a C10, dude. Like
So he had like the cab and a cab
no,
and a
it
half.
was just a single cab.
It was a single cab.
Yeah. So we'll have to get him on here one of these days. But
Yeah,
he
I
can
haven't
go
told that
on. But
story
like,
yet.
yeah, he brought one. I don't remember if it's his oldest or if it's twins that he brought home from the hospital in a C10 that
Wow.
he still owns. It literally sits outside of his house, and it's like every week he gets a note left on it about selling it.
Oh yeah.
So we have this running joke of he has a shoebox full of notes of people's phone numbers
Oh,
who
yeah.
leave him on as like this decoration out in his front yard that people want to buy.
Yeah.
Wow.
But it's worth more to him than that. So I can see
Yeah.
your dad's point of view on that. Like
Yeah.
it's just it's a memento to him.
Well, and I don't even think he really gives a shit about the sentimental value. I think it's just if I need a pickup, I always have one. If I
Yeah.
need to do pickup shit.
You
That
know,
could be
I
too.
think like once you have a pickup truck,
Because, I mean, realistically, what is a 97 F-150 4.6 Triton? I mean, it does have a manual 4x,
So that makes it worth like
but it's
$2.
got 200,000 miles.
I
Like,
think they're
what-
still
what
worth
is that?
like $6,000.
Really?
Yeah,
Not
something
in that
like
condition.
Fuck.
Yeah, I haven't
I'll
seen
bring
it,
it.
but
I'll bring it
I
by.
want to see this, or at least pictures of this. We'll post them up on there.
And dude, like, it's got 198, and the
I swear, every time we go to do podcasts, you are like the third person. It's open. Yes. No, it's open. Just go. Like the third person.
God fucking damn it.
it was supposed to be podcast 3.
I swear.
Anyway.
We're on 3 people
I jinxed
podcast
it.
too.
Yeah.
I jinxed it.
Anyway, so, it's a tired truck, and when you see it, you'll see why. But that transmission
Fucking clapped.
feels brand new. That
Wow.
clutch feels brand new. They make jokes about the 3 American manufacturers that Chevy doesn't know how to make a transmission, Ford doesn't know how to make an engine, and Dodge doesn't know how to make anything at all. And that's the case. Like the 4.6, it's not great. That truck's a dog. It's piss slow.
It's
But
a
the-
4.6.
But the transmission feels like it left the showroom.
Wow.
You gotta
It's
remember,
just it feels so
that
good to
truck
drive.
came around in a time where manual transmissions were still a thing.
Yeah.
So people wanted a manual transmission.
hmm
And
Well, that's what my dad said. He's like, "Give me the cheapest 4x4 manual."
exactly. And you can't get that now because like the cheapest cars don't have manual transmissions anymore because you can't buy a manual transmission.
Or you have to custom order them.
Or you're paying more for a
Yeah.
manual
Yeah.
transmission now than an automatic
Well,
because
you know
back then it was different. It was
Yeah,
the other way
and-
around.
yeah.
I think for the 2025 model year, the Tacoma's the only thing that has the manual.
Yeah.
Jeep has a special option that you can get, but it's like a limited edition that they're going to phase out after a certain amount of models.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't trust it because it's Chrysler.
Yeah.
But like, can you imagine if you still get like a new Camry or Corolla with a manual? I mean, I don't know if that's a
That'd
thing.
be
or
so
not.
cool, yeah.
Oh man, yeah.
I
The
don't know,
Focus
maybe
did
we'll
for
have to.
the Focus had a good run of manuals.
Dude,
I
the
think.
STs with the manuals
Yeah.
are pretty fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, this truck was it runs and drives great-ish. Needs wheel bearings, but yeah, I'll bring it by. So yeah, Mom drove the Camry. We had the Sienna, and then Dad had the F-150, and then they split up. Mom took the Camry with her.
Oh
And-
no.
Dad parked the Sienna in the garage and only used it for like family shit. And then he went out and bought the shittiest,
Oh, boy.
fucking worst 2005 Ford Focus that I have ever been in my life.
Was it the 4-door or the 2-door?
It was the 4-door.
Oh yeah, those are
CX
brutal.
CX4.
Oh yeah. I had a
And
friend with one of those.
The harmonic balancer was bad, and the motor mounts were bad. So you start
whole
this
thing was a
fucker up,
rolling
and it
death trap,
vibrates
too.
so bad.
Oh my
And
gosh.
he had it about the time I started to like get my permit and drive. So I would throw all my friends in it, and we would always laugh. We would call it the vibrator because as soon as you start it, the whole car just rattles horrendously.
Wow.
And
Driving around a vibrator.
The shifter in the middle just broke. So
yeah.
the only thing was the stalk with the little plunger. So like to shift it, you just push down on the plunger and then you just shift it like
Nice.
That's a typical Ford fashion
And
from the mid-2000s.
we ended up getting rid of that because I went to McDonald's with my girlfriend at the time. And we pulled around into the parking lot after going through the drive-thru, and we were just eating, and the car died.
Huh.
Wouldn't restart, wouldn't do anything.
As Fords do.
We got a battery hooked up to it, found out that it's the alternator, but you have to rock the whole fucking engine forward to do the fucking alternator on those pieces of shit. Thanks, Ford engineers.
Wow.
So to do an alternator, you have to unbolt the whole engine and rock the whole thing forward because it sits between the firewall and the back of the engine. And my dad got that quote and was like, nope.
Dude, this is like
That's so stupid.
this is Ford Engineering 101 right there. Just
Yeah,
stupid shit.
yeah. Dad got the quote because they had to pull the motor, and he was like, that car's not worth what you just quoted me." So again, another coworker was going through some kind of issue, and he said, "Look, you need to do an alternator, but I'm not going to charge you a thing for the car. So you pay to get the alternator fixed, you can have it."
So we got the car for
So
$3
someone got a
grand.
car for free.
Yeah.
And then spent $4,000 on getting an alternator
Yeah.
replaced.
And then that car left, and my dad brought home a 2019 Ford Taurus, and that's what he's driving right now.
2019 Taurus.
Dude, my wife calls those things like shoebox or bricks because she just absolutely hates them.
Really?
Oh, yeah, the 2019. They
Like
came
the-
out with a show.
yeah, the show. Yeah.
model.
It
Which
wasn't
I
a
guess
show.
are,
It was the limited,
sleepers.
though. He had the leather with the.
You guys remember the MKZs, which were like
Yeah.
based off those things? They were so goofy looking.
Or
but if
wait,
you,
those
like,
were the fusions based off the fusion,
I think
right?
that's what it was, off the
Yeah.
fusion, but they look so goofy. But you actually stand on them, you're like, fuck.
Oh yeah,
They're
yeah.
so nice on the inside. You just can't get around like how bad it looked on the outside.
I used to not be able to make sense of the whole Mercury Ford because I was like, they look like the same quality to me.
Quit
I
looking at me with my
couldn't-
crown
were
necks
about
and
the
couldn't really
Grand
tell.
Marquises.
But now, like the Mercuries were nicer,
yeah,
right?
the old people.
it was
car.
the higher trim Ford, right?
It was like the old people who were wealthy enough to spend the extra $10 on whatever they wanted or buy cheese
Oh,
or
okay.
cheese dip with their chips.
Oh yes,
Oh,
yep.
nice color.
That was actually the day that he brought it home.
That's a nice color.
But yeah, so he got the limited, and it was super nice. I drove it here like once or twice here and there, just because I was driving the Camry at the time, and my alternator died, and I was working part time at KFC.
You
And
mean you didn't have to pay $4,000 for an alternator service?
I did not, but at that point I knew how to change my own alternator. But I was spending all my money, part time money, on
Your KFC
on-
drive-through money.
on weed and
That's fair.
movies
yeah,
or whatever.
I did that for like 10 years.
Yeah. So
Pornography.
so for a while I drove the Focus for a little bit, but there were a couple of times that he let me take the Taurus out because it was a brand new vehicle at the time. It had all the leather and the wood trim and everything, and I'd throw all my friends in
Nothing
that.
screams luxury like some fake wood.
Yeah,
I mean, those Ford Tauruses for what they were, pretty.
dude,
I mean,
and
pretty
being
nice.
a limited, his
Yeah.
sound system bumps in that
Dude,
thing.
those SHOs.
The shows
like
were
a
really cool.
Like just a simple tune downpipe and
Yeah.
exhaust. Were fucking
They were
fun.
great. Yeah, they were
Like,
I
great.
was
they were
watching
scary fun.
what Legit Streetcars, I think is his name, his channel. But he did a show. Let me double check that. But I'm 90% sure he bought a show.
Well, I looked at
And-
buying a show at one point, and I remember getting in the forums with them, and everybody was like, tune, downpipe, exhaust. It gets you like 400 horse.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what he did.
That was it. Like, that was the recipe. Like,
and it I was
done.
watching the video of him scooting the thing, and I'm like, well, damn, like that's easy power right there, and
Yep.
for cheap.
yeah, long ago, there was a person I knew, and he had like an affinity for Fords. And the newest Ford he owned was a 2012 SHO. The thing was so clean, dark red. He had both turbos serviced at one point, so the thing had some pep. Man.
Yeah, my family was always Ford people, and I just, even though I was growing up around Fords all the time,
So they like making
I wasn't
mistakes. At least they
into
didn't
'em.
buy Dodge.
Fords and Toyotas. That's all we had. We only had Ford. Well,
Wow.
and the Jaguar, but
And now
That's kind of a Ford.
there's a pretty cool panel van that
Yeah.
resides within the family.
yeah, my grandparents bought a '56 panel van, and we'll throw a picture of that up. Paid absolutely way too much on the
Oh, yeah.
restoration, and I'm not going to shout the guy out who restored it because there's some shoddy work done to it. But
Very much so.
But
Some
it looks
fucking
good.
shoddy work.
It's a parking lot job. You get out of the store at the parking lot, you see it across the parking lot, you go,
Oh, boy.
woo!
What-
Oh.
Yeah, was it vice grip?
And then you get up
That
close and you're
you're
like, okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
that looks good. My grandparents, I don't know what your guys' grandparents drove, but
Oh,
My grandparents smoked like 13 packs of cigarette a day and really did not care for us.
My
They were just, they hated
Yeah.
us.
the first car that I remember my grandparents driving, my grandfather had a 6.0 Power Stroke, a 4-door. It was
Oh,
pretty
yeah.
cool.
I
Or-
see, he's
It
a, he's
might
a
have been
man
the
of
seven-
making terrible
They were
choices.
glorious
like myself.
back then,
It
though.
might
If
have
you
been
had
the
a 6.0 when they
7.3.
were new,
It
If
might
it
have been
was
the
a 7.3,
7.3.
he's got some redemption, but if he's
Oh,
anything
he's got
like
a
a
lot of
6.0 like
Yeah, it
me,
might have been the 7.3.
yeah, he's
I
making
saw the
choice.
hood was open the other day. But yeah,
And then they-
Onward.
yeah, and
we
then
don't,
they,
we don't talk about that, okay?
yeah.
It's a 6.0.
And then my grandma got a better job, and the company gave her a vehicle. That was cool. It was an Infiniti QX80.
So
What was the
did she-
giant suburban mom
All the
tanks?
56?
Yeah.
oh
Yeah.
yeah.
It was like
Yeah.
a 2007 or 8 or something
So
like that.
she got a rental car from her work basically and probably trashed it like everybody else does.
She didn't trash it. She takes really good care of her vehicles. But
She falls in the 1% category of people taking care of their rentals or
Yeah.
company cars.
Well, and they were big Harley people, so they had like bikes and stuff.
I know
around
somebody
all
who's
the
big into
time.
Harleys too.
Yeah.
Look, he's even wearing Harley glasses.
I am. My prescription glasses are Harley Davidson brand. I used to have a
Wow,
Harley,
yeah.
but
He's
not
gonna come
anymore.
in like fucking assless chaps next.
So yeah, and then my grandmother, her fun vehicle, she had a Z4 in manual.
Oh,
Okay.
nice. Yeah.
And
Okay.
I wasn't old enough to drive to ever have driven that vehicle. The guy next door, he actually almost bought it, but he ended up
They're
passing
great
'cause
roadsters.
he already had like an M3, I think. Yeah. So then she had the Z4 for a little bit, got rid of that,
So
and
have
then
you guys noticed a trend here? I mean, I know we're talking about our parents and stuff like that, but we go back to this is we're still stuck in the early 2000s for cars.
That was when they were still good.
With our parents.
I know.
We are a copy of our parents at this point.
Well, yeah, I sold.
I'm actually older. I have older cars than they do. I mean, my Lightning is
2001.
Gosh, I mean, that thing is 2002.
Oh, it's as old as
so-
you?
22 years old, yeah.
Yeah. So,
Damn.
I mean,
I thought they were better. Like, my first car was a 2006 Camry. I sold it and bought a 2006 Tacoma.
yeah.
Like, I don't
How many
like...
cars are you on now for owning?
I personally have owned 2.
You're probably going to be up there with me in just hundreds.
Yeah. If we're including motorcycles and stuff too, it's
motorcycles.
gets crazy.
If we're including like ATVs and motorcycles and shit, I've owned like 20 of those.
yeah,
Dude, I literally
The
just
last
sold
time
the
I
truck
counted, I
like
forgot.
2 hours ago in my parking
That thing
lot.
was nice. I don't think you should have let it go.
You know,
Which one? What did you sell?
you remember that white Ford we're looking at doing the detail for that customer?
Oh yeah, that's old.
You know, that customer literally just came up to me, I think earlier this week, and was like, hey, man, like, I'm just
300
he's
straight
like,
6. Was
you
it
know,
4x4?
No, it's 2-wheel drive,
Oh,
but it had
okay.
a 4-speed manual.
Yeah.
You
It
know,
was relatively
Fuck.
clean.
300
Fuck,
straight 6,
this
the
thing
most unkillable engine ever made.
all the proper work done to make it nice. I mean, somebody had done head gaskets and all that. I mean, the thing was nice. Working AC.
Damn.
That's what like
It was a nice truck.
the kid who bought it was so happy with it because he's like, "Dude, we cranked this AC and it was fucking cold." And I'm like, "Yeah, jump into a 1990 F-150 from around here and tell me you got cold
Jump
AC."
into my dad's
Yeah.
97 F-150 that the AC hasn't worked in 15 years.
Exactly. So it was such a nice truck. I didn't want to get rid of it, but I also want my parking lot space back because we always have so many things here that we run out of space.
Yeah.
Even after
The
expanding,
parking
we're
lot's
out of
fucking
space.
full.
You know, we expanded and we're still out of space. You know,
Yeah.
the hell. But you know, my customer dropped me a line the other day. He's like, "Hey, I'm going to come in tomorrow." I'm like, "Okay." You know, I just thought he was just going to come in and talk about his other project. Well, he's a little on the older side now. He's a very nice guy, but he literally comes in. He's like, "Here's a title." He's like, "I don't want to sell it because if I sell, I'm gonna take a dump. You know, it's gonna I can't get my money back out of it. So
Huh.
why don't you keep it and sell it?"
Wow.
He's like, just sell it for you. He's like, I want you. He's like, I know you guys had a
Well-
pretty hard spot last month with what happened. He's like, I'd rather just give you the truck, sell it for what you get out of it, and just help me out later on. He's like, I got a lot of health problems going on and
Well-
stuff like that. He's like, I'm trying to downsize. I'd rather you take the money and use it for what you need to use it and just help me out later. And I was like, are you sure? He's like, yeah. So, you know, I already had a deal in the works for this truck brewing for like the last week. I mean, when you're trying to sell older cars, it takes a minute to sell them because people are like expecting a brand new car for $3,000. And I don't know how many times I reiterated to this young gentleman that just bought it from across, you know, the hill on the other side of the hill. And I'm like, it's an old truck. It's from 1990.
You're going to have old truck problems.
But it's cleaner than 99% of the trucks you're gonna see this generation. And then I believe it's his older brother was like, yeah, my dad used to own a 300 like this. Our dad used to own one, which is why he's attracted to it.
If you're watching this, look up the Ford 300. They are stout motors.
Oh,
like
yeah.
they
Oh, yeah.
are so hard to kill.
Yeah, because they make like no power like the 7.3s.
No, but they live forever.
Yeah.
But I mean, goes back to this kid. You know, I've never met him. I've been brewing a deal with his girlfriend, I believe, or wife or whatever. You know, she's been the middleman doing this deal for like a week. The customer gave me the title. They didn't just keep it. You know.
Well, I probably would have owned more vehicles if I got free vehicles all the time.
Yeah, but
so.
it doesn't happen. It doesn't happen all the time. This is just a customer who's like, hey man, just get out of my life. Help me out when I need the help a little later on. But I'm not in a position to have more cars now. But goes back to this kid. His brother's like, yeah, our dad owned one 300, same year, almost same color. He's like, it had a manual in it, and I'm almost certain that's what sold that truck. Was a nostalgia,
Yeah,
like us.
$3,500 though, you can't really beat that, especially in this economy.
Yeah, that was a good purchase on his end. I mean, the problem is you're dealing with Facebook people and Facebook Marketplace.
It's the
and
worst.
Oh
I mean,
man.
I had the truck up for a month because I try to help the customer sell it, and it just it was getting nowhere. And when this kid came up with it, he's like, I got this much to talk to the customer. He's like, I don't want to take a bath in it. So everything led up to this kid getting this truck now, which. Oddly enough, his brother actually brought me back the plate after they went and registered it like immediately.
That
up
never
the road.
happens.
That it was so wild to me. Somebody
Wow.
actually brought me a plate back.
Dang. Yeah, that's
I was like,
unheard of.
holy shit. I'm like, what do I do with this plate now?
Jeez.
Throw it away.
The Lord's work.
Yeah.
Just shoot it. Speaking of which, side note, are we going shooting this weekend or what?
Oh man, I wish.
Because we're gonna go.
I've been wanting to go for like a month now.
Because I got this new pellet gun. I've been itching to try out.
Oh
And,
yeah.
I got water balloons I want to shoot with my pellet gun.
Why are we talking about our weekend plans on a podcast?
Why not? It just
Yeah,
came up.
you know.
It's a spew of the moment. Come
I
on,
guess.
Joe.
Man, I could go on a
Stop being
whole.
so fucking serious, Joe. This is a podcast. People who are listening in know we're either goofing the fuck off, having fun, or just trying to teach people some advice.
Gosh, I was about
Or
to, I
talking
was about
shit.
to fall into a whole story with my we'll call it a airsoft rifle.
Does it shoot beans?
Yes.
Jelly beans.
But oh man, yeah, I almost went down a whole thing. I've been going through a little something with this one.
Oh,
yeah,
dude,
something I'll inform you about later. Holy, I pretty much started with one, and now it's turned into two from the one because parts and
Dude,
things going together.
it's
where
like
they-
when you pull a dash out of a car and you rate yourself on how many bolts you have left over after putting it back together. On a scale of 1 to 10, how many bolts are still left?
Well, yeah, but if you finish a job with extra bolts, that means you did a better job than the engineers
It's a
did.
tip.
Weight
I,
reduction.
I can put this back together with this many bolts. You didn't need this many.
yeah,
weight
shake it
reduction.
around. It's like, look, it's not
Yeah,
moving.
see, you didn't need all those bolts in there. I changed the headlights out on my Tacoma, and there's one really hard bolt to get to that I had to get to. And once the new headlights were in, I'm like, I'm not fucking putting this bolt back.
One of them fucking things are aimed
My-
at the moon.
Yeah,
My
I hate
headlights
'em.
actually on the Lightning have more bolts now. I have added
Ow.
bolts. So you
What
know
did
how
you
they have
break?
those. You
What
know-
did you break? Oh, you're.
Yeah, so you know those like clamps that you pull up for the F-150 headlights?
Okay.
I think they're the same ones that are in your F-150.
I wouldn't know. I haven't put in any time
just-
into that truck.
He literally stays away
did
from
a-
Fords.
Actually, one of the first big jobs I did was a cooling system on that truck. So I got a new rad, new water pump, hoses, coolant, everything. I helped my dad with all that.
Only
Oh,
for it to
okay.
be driven like an extra 500 miles since then.
We probably did that cooling system, and my dad drove it once.
Oh man,
Maybe
well, it was a
twice. That's what I'm
glorious
saying.
Yeah.
cold drive.
Yeah.
But yeah, those latches that hold those headlights in, you
Yeah.
like pull them up, and then you could pull the headlight out.
Yep.
And I guess when you push that down, it kind of like pinches the back or something to hold it in.
It like cinches it down. So
Yeah.
kind of like a retainer.
So for whatever reason, mine would not cinch, and so
Here comes the fucking self-tappers.
it only happened on one side. So I was like, okay, so cool. I'll just put some nylon threaded just nuts, and so the one was held in. And then one day, I'm driving into work,
And
and
it just falls off, doesn't it?
maybe, and I don't know how long it was out, but I may have driven a pretty far distance with my
Extra
one
airflow.
headlight just
You know-
It's extra
hanging
airflow.
out, Ford stuff.
I had the same fucking thing happen to my Marauder when I worked at Nissan. I was going up there on the morning just to fucking work. I remember I was like, I hear this thunk, and then it's just something thunking around on
See,
the
I
left
didn't even
side.
hear anything. It was dead quiet.
No, mine was just thunking around. I look out the window. I'm like, oh fuck, the turn signal fell out of its place.
Yeah, I pulled it into the shop all the way in. Peyton didn't even say anything. Or I don't know if he was there, but yeah, if he was there, he didn't say anything. And I pull into the back, and then, as you do when your car is charming, you turn around and you look at it. And I turned around and I looked at it, and it wasn't so charming because
You're
the
like,
headlight
"Oh,
is just
fuck."
hanging out. And I'm like, shit. I'm like, okay.
Mistakes were made, and I
so,
didn't notice.
Yeah, I was like, Peyton, do you have any nylon nuts laying around that might fit this random piece of my light bulb or light housing
you
here?
did a lot better than I did because I would have just reached for the baling wire and just made some work temporarily.
Classic.
Yeah, no, they're good now. Those things are not coming out. I mean, you gotta
Okay.
go in there with
Use
the,
red Loctite on everything. Fucking cross-threaded everything.
well, they're nylon nuts, so I mean they're pretty hard to get off.
Dude, Mother Nature's Loctite.
Yes.
Cross-threading. Remember that.
Yeah.
That's
Cross-threading is still threading.
doesn't matter if you win by an inch or a mile. Cross-threading is still cross-threading.
Mhm.
You
That's
ever
just
done
Mother
it with
Nature's
an
Loctite.
oil drain bolt?
Shh. Actually, I'm just gonna say, it came out, and I put one of those stupid valve things in to see how cheesy
yeah,
it was.
yeah.
It worked for years. Okay.
They're nice. The oil flow is just slow,
the
though.
worry thing is like if somebody knows you have that in an oil pan,
Oh, yeah.
what's
and-
stopping
yeah,
them from
and
fucking
once-
coming over? And it's like,
Yeah,
Oh,
but what's
yeah.
stopping somebody from walking up and just knifing your tires,
Yeah.
I've had
Just
people put
shooting
sugar in
your
my gas
engine.
tank before.
Oh,
twice.
man.
Which is
Yeah.
ridiculous because sugar doesn't even dissolve in gas.
Yeah, but you know what
It
it
just
does?
sits at the bottom of the tank.
Yeah, but you know what it does?
clogs your pickup screen.
It'll fucking clog a fuel pump.
Yeah.
And it did it twice to me.
Yeah, I had
And
that.
I'm pretty sure somebody in town had a white Ram, and probably pissed this person off a couple times because it was a little like it happened, 6 months ago, and then another 6 months goes by. I'm like, why the fuck's it not starting and running? And I look in there. I'm like, the gas cap's missing. I'm like, I'm pretty sure the gas cap was there when I last filled up. And both times the gas cap was missing.
Very suspicious.
Then I found out that those locking fucking gas caps don't work either. You can just take a giant pair of channel locks
Yeah.
and just
twist
squeeze
them.
them, and then they come off.
Oh.
So, tech tip: if you lost your key to your locking gas cap,
If you want to siphon somebody's gas out of their tank,
that doesn't really happen anymore.
bring some channel locks.
I mean, now what Ford has those ones where you can it's just opened.
all,
right?
all,
like
the, all the
Raptor?
manufacturers are pretty much
Yeah.
like that. But the thing is, they have so many security devices built in those things. It's like good luck.
Oh yeah,
But I still think I'm like, you can still put sugar in the gas tank.
yeah,
well, and if you know your way around cars, there are so many creative ways that you can start fucking with people.
yeah.
Dude,
Just being in this
let's
business-
go on that real quick. So,
Oh boy, someone's car is gonna get messed up. Sorry.
when I was a tad younger, at the dealership life was always who can fuck with who the best. That's always been the dealership life. So when I was at Nissan, we used to have this guy named Chuck. This guy was like in his 60s and just so genius about how he subtly fucked with people. That all I remember was he literally took like he really hated one of our coworkers who had a lowered Honda Civic, like static. He really hated him, and then unfortunately he became his apprentice later on. Yeah, he was really mad about that too. He took his hubcaps off, and fucking put those that dried up crushed shrimp you can buy in the bags, and put it behind the hubcap. Boy, did that fucking stink!
Yeah.
And nobody could find the smell.
So,
But
That's like the last place you look.
dude, so when I
so
was
he fucking told me about this in confidence, and I'm like, I'm gonna just shut up. Like,
yeah,
this ain't me. I know about it, but this ain't
Yeah.
me. Like, not my deal.
yeah.
This fucking guy drove around. Fuck, for like 5 or 6 months with this smell.
Too long.
Gosh.
Too
And
long.
then, when I was working at Chevy, one of the sales managers just pissed me the fuck off, dude. Like, he'd call me my personal cell phone number and, like, yell at me.
Oh.
Trying to be like, I'm like his butler kind of thing. I'm like, all right, fuck you. I just took some fucking giant zip ties and a cowbell.
Nice.
Classic.
Yeah, nice.
That
Yeah.
was it was good. It was a real good seeing that thing go out the parking lot at 5 o'clock
Wow.
at night or in the afternoon.
Gosh.
Come on, somebody's gotta have a good story.
I mean,
Not really sabotaging cars. I mean, when I was
Yeah.
a little
It's not
bastard.
sabotaging. It's more like just go fuck you in like a nice way.
Well, so like that, my Toyota Camry, the first car that I had, it didn't have a passenger side headrest for whatever reason. And my buddy, he had been driving his mom's Prius.
Adult films were being made in that Camry.
No, but it wasn't the
in
Prius.
a Camry.
So headrest is gone. My buddy trashes his mom's Prius, and they totaled it. I don't know for what reason. There was no body damage. I think it was just it either didn't sell or I think it had electrical issues or something like that. But he's like, "Oh, I'm getting rid of this car." I'm like, "I'm taking one of those headrests."
Yeah.
So forever, I had 3 Camry headrests and then a Prius headrest, which looks nothing like a Camry headrest. And so it's got like that kind of like half donut shape.
Yeah.
We'll put a picture of a 2007 Prius headrest up. Doesn't look like a Camry headrest. So I had that for a couple years. And then when I got rid of that car, my buddy who just bought his 2005 Tacoma didn't have a passenger side headrest.
Oh no!
So he's like, let me get that Prius headrest.
It
Nice.
got fucking swapped around.
Yeah, so this one Prius headrest has been in 3 different Toyota vehicles.
Just like a
Wow.
Honda Civic and
And
get
he still
sold in
has
the
it.
marketplace
Yeah,
in the area.
and he drives around with this Prius headrest.
I love that it fit.
Yeah.
I love that you could just
They're
transfer them across.
all you can interchange all of
Damn.
It's a life hack.
them. Yeah.
If you're missing a headrest
Early 2000s Toyotas, you just swap them out.
Wow.
with a pre-I head.
When me and my buddies would drive around, we like whoever was driving, like obviously would sit forward a little bit to like pay attention. So anyone sitting behind them would always take the headrest out as like carefully as they could, so they don't notice it. And one, it's funny when they put their head back and they just fall. That's funny. But also what we would do is we would pull the headrest out and then just smack them in the back of the head as hard as we could with it.
That's a great thing while they're fucking driving
Yeah,
to do.
or you just rocket this fucking thing into the front against the dash. It was the best.
Oh,
Dude, we would take my Toyota Camry and we would go around our neighborhood and I would leave it and drive, and when the car rolls a little bit, you don't have to be on the gas at all. So I would put it in drive and it would go max 5 miles an hour or something like that, and then I would just get out of
the whip?
just get out of the vehicle and just
my
walk alongside of it.
I've never had the balls.
Did you ever do the McDonald's trays on the back wheels? With that?
No, we almost did, but
So I learned very quickly that you can't just use one tray because you'll burn
you have
through
to
it in
use
like 30
two, yeah.
seconds. You have to get like 5 on each one of those wheels.
Oh, you need like a stack of trays.
Yeah, because that'll give you at least 2 or 3 minutes worth of fun.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
You'd rip through them pretty quick if it was just
We
one.
did that on a Volvo. I think it was one of those like.
In one of the bricks?
No, it was not a brick. It was a sedan version of the brick.
Oh, okay.
And this was when vaping was a really big fad in high school. We just finished high school, so I used to take this stupid like snorkel we had. I wouldn't vape, but a buddy would vape from the back seat into the snorkel out of the sunroof, so we're rolling coal.
Oh,
as we're
my
fucking
gosh.
sliding
He's just
around the
ripping
Walmart
fat
park.
mod.
Yeah, dude, it's fucking just ripping around the Walmart parking lot, rolling coal.
I remember there was a
Oh
car
my.
meet. I had my first car, the 2006 Camry. There was a car meet that we heard about, and my buddies were like, "Oh, let's go!" And I was like, "What should we take? We all drive shit."
Common
And they're like-
mafia traffic.
And
or
I
whatever.
had just cut the muffler off of my Camry, so they're like, "Oh, we got to take yours." And I was like, "Okay." So we go out and we just get a stack of cardboard boxes, and then we made side skirts out of cardboard boxes
That's
and a spoiler out of
awesome.
cardboard
Mighty
boxes
car mod
and
shit
a,
right
and
there.
a,
I like
and a
that.
hood scoop out of cardboard boxes, and we pulled up like that.
Wow.
Pull up to the scene
Yeah.
with your cylinder missing.
It probably broke more necks than some more impressive
Oh, yeah.
stuff, just
Oh,
because of
yeah.
how crazy it was,
Oh
you know?
yeah,
Well,
and,
that's what was
and,
probably trending.
and when we got to the car thing, there wasn't a whole lot of parking, but there was a cart return that was big enough that I could fit my Camry in. So I parked in the cart return, and I had to open my sunroof, and we all climbed out the top of the sunroof because we couldn't
Nice.
get out in the cart return.
Wow.
I had a buddy in high school. He drove a '98 RAV4, and those things were tiny. I don't know.
Oh,
if you
yeah,
remember that.
yeah.
And he blew his sound system out. So he took like home theater speakers from the '70s. So it had like
I
that
did the
shitty like
fucking
that.
same
Pre-
thing.
that
So
that,
he,
that
like,
press-
doubled the weight of the car.
Well, it's like press board with
Oh,
like
yeah.
that wood
Yeah.
grain on it, and he just like you couldn't sit in the rear seats because they were occupied by 2 fucking home
Oh,
speakers
my.
that he just hardwired into the car.
So, dude, I did the same thing. We used to have some fucking like 18s or something like that for subwoofers, but they were MTX home subwoofers. And now, if you really deep dive into it, they have like the plastic on the subwoofers nowadays, but these had the paper, so there was a little nicer of a sound.
Yeah.
I don't know how many fucking cars these 2 subs went through. Like, I had one because I couldn't. The box was so big you could literally fill an entire trunk, and my little brother had the other one. I don't
Nice.
know how many cars these fucking subs went through
All of them.
before they died.
Yeah.
And they were
Wow.
house subs that were
That's
fucking
fucking
running off
awesome.
like a 2,000 watt amp.
Yeah, that's great.
Oh, my gosh.
Dude, I was not friends with this kid. He was kind of an asshole, but I knew of him. And during high school, this kid's dad owned a bunch of the liquor stores around here, so he had a bunch of disposable income. They had 2 Buick Grand Nationals,
Oh, fuck.
and
Damn.
he would pull up in these motherfuckers. And like
Oof.
after school, we would just hang out in the parking lot of the school, and he would just sit there doing burnouts. And when you put like 11s in the road or some shit.
Oh, man.
Did you guys at your high schools, I mean, I don't know what your parking lots looked like, but that just kind of brought into mind.
Yeah.
Anyone who was slightly a car guy would, like, throw their rear end around the curve leaving the parking lot. So, like,
I did
when we would
all
be
the fucking
leaving,
time.
You peel out. Yeah.
everybody peeled.
So, when I was in high school, because I went to the one here locally, I used to get in with the security guards pretty good. Like, I was pretty tight with them. So, they knew that the front row was for the car guys.
Nice.
So, I remember, I have pictures somewhere of I had just painted my Thunderbird. It's a nice teal color with a Cobra hood and all that shit. Sitting right in the front parking spot there. So, you can leave real easy. Good thing you'd have, like, this really nice C10 that this kid named Cody had, There's a Camaro. You had all these nice cars parked
Nice,
up
yeah.
front, for the car people.
Oh, yeah.
And that's what I remember high school of, like, if you were a car person, you had, like, privilege to these spots here.
Totally.
My high school had just a bunch of shit in it. There was a guy with a Buick Grand National, and then everything else was just regular stuff. Just beat to
Common
hell, like
traffic
97,
mafia.
like Chevy Silverados and,
Yeah, we had truck
Did-
parking.
Kias and
Did you guys
Hyundais.
were you guys allowed to have gun racks?
No,
What?
no.
I remember.
Oh
when,
yeah, like that would not fly in
No.
Pennsylvania either.
Really?
Super liberal out there.
It was
though.
funny. They had brought some police squad or whatever with a canine unit to just walk the dog up and down the aisles
It
of
was
the
like
cars.
every month for us.
Yeah. So the dog actually had signaled for a car. So they took the student out of class, and there was this huge fucking thing. And they make him unlock the car, and he unlocks it, and there's a box of dog treats sitting in his
Oh my
passenger
gosh.
side truck. So like they were going through this whole thing, the drug dog finally
Yeah.
like found something, and they were gonna nail this
The fucking-
kid,
yeah,
and he
we
pops
got
it
him
open.
dead
There's
right.
a box of fucking milk bones on the floor. And everyone was so mad that
Oh
all of
my
their time
gosh.
was wasted.
That's
you-
awesome.
How would you, as an officer, could you like, what the fuck?
I'd be so
Doesn't-
mad.
Yeah,
I'm like,
that
Tell
dog.
him to trade this dog in for a new one.
Yeah, well, and your
Yeah.
afternoon was ruined.
Yeah, dude, like, oh yeah, I'm gonna go fucking hammer this 17-year-old for having marijuana with him. or
So
some
that was
stupid
all of
shit.
our police near my high school. So in Paoli, Pennsylvania. I don't know if
Paoli?
you're
Shout
all
out
still
Paoli.
a bunch of freaking tools who are in that police station, but last time I checked, y'all are a bunch of tools.
Fuck you. What is
like,
it?
Paoli, Pennsylvania.
Fuck you, Paoli.
Yeah,
Paolis.
please come on out here to Arizona.
Bitches.
Gosh.
Every time
my
he-
homies
dude,
hate
every,
Paoli.
every time he talks about like back in Pennsylvania, he like names off a group, and I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure that's gonna find him someday.
Yeah.
What was it?
Yeah, it was the 12 o'clock boys last time.
Oh,
I'm gonna,
that's what it
I'm gonna be
was.
dead soon. But it's funny. At least the 12 o'clock boys, I actually respect them more than the Paoli police. Yeah, the
The PP.
Paoli police, oh my gosh, just so petty. And I've had my run-ins with them, yeah,
Bro, quit
but
talking
like
about Prescott PD like that.
I've had, I haven't
too.
had. I mean, knock on wood. But anyway,
No, I'm sorry, Prescott Valley.
so yeah, I had one guy arrested. I'm in the back of a cop car. Caught me with like
Marijuana's.
like a gram of weed or something like that. And yeah, so he's driving me to the police station, and it's this whole thing. And he's like, "Yo, you ever watch South Park and listen to Mr. Maggie?
What a fucking
and
idiot.
say like, the drugs are bad."
Okay.
I'm just like, I was so taken back. I was like,
Have you ever seen an episode of South
Yeah.
Park?
Bro, it's like
I
when
watched
they're trying
South
too hard to be
Park.
hip, like trying
Yeah,
to be relevant.
and this dude wasn't even that old. And I'm like, dude, you
All
watch
right,
South-"
Grandpa.
I was like, all right. And yeah, they just like troll you, and it's just like this whole thing. It's like, dude, like, I'm like 16 or 17, or I was like 16. I'm like, dude, like, this is the best you could get tonight.
yeah, South Park is
And-
relevant to 16-year-olds.
Yeah. And like, yeah, there was another time my buddy was parked his car just like super briefly. He actually was standing next to it. So we would always go to the Starbucks by the train station, since a lot of us took the train back to wherever we were coming from, including myself for
That's
a
some
while.
East Coast vibes.
Oh yeah, hour-and-a-half train ride to school and back.
What?
Oh yeah.
You're joking. What?
Nope.
What?
Yep.
Could you imagine that, Joe?
40-minute drive.
We just
hour-and-a-half.
we just drove our hick town trucks and cars to school. We didn't do
or
that.
rode with a friend that was doing that.
Yeah, our hick schools and whatnot.
Yeah, and if
Yeah,
you missed
I
the
wish.
bus, good fucking
Oh,
luck,
yeah,
dude.
good fucking luck.
Yeah, so yeah, my friend's parked out front of this Starbucks. It's a no parking area, so yes, like he should not have parked there. But he literally, he gave us a ride to the Starbucks because the school, you could walk, but
It's so much cooler to just get a ride
It's
from
easier
school
to just-
Starbucks.
yeah.
I remember.
and so he just gets out with all of us. He's just saying bye, and a cop rolls up behind him and just starts writing a ticket. And we're like, dude, he's right here. Like he's literally about to move, and he doesn't even respond to any of us. He just keeps writing
Dude,
his
that's that
ticket.
power trip, dude. That's a
Oh
power
yeah,
trip.
and this dude obviously was miserable. You know when you look at someone and you're like, ah, yeah,
He's
like,
he's
poor
on his
guy.
third divorce. His
Yeah.
pension's gone.
Yeah,
and,
I
he
could-
goes home to his dog, who may acknowledge him.
Yeah.
Drinks severely.
Oh,
on the
yeah.
job.
Yeah.
I mean,
Like he's 2 mimosas in before the day even starts.
yeah, dude was just
Mimosas.
looking
What the fuck?
You gotta have that edge.
What is this, Housewives of fucking Sun City? What the fuck are you talking about, mimosas? Nobody who's divorced working as a cop is drinking mimosas
Bro,
in the fucking morning.
They're drinking
imagine-
Vladimir.
They're drinking fucking Popov or some other shit.
Straight fucking bourbon.
Mimosas. Bleh.
Gosh, yeah.
All the real alcoholics just laughed at him just now.
Oh, who cares? I know alcoholic. Well,
Yeah, we would have these guys like they'd just like hang out in the parking lot of the school and stuff like that, and then they're just like, oh man, they were just. I hope the Paoli PD has been gone through.
you're gonna have a Laverne
holy
PD
shit.
scandal soon. Paoli
Great,
scandal.
please bring it on.
All the memes.
Yeah, I would
Wh-
love. I would love to make a lot of money off of that.
Was there anything cool in the parking lot of your high school?
My high school experience. Well, some of the teachers actually had some pretty cool stuff. Like I used to
Wow.
have my science teacher, which is now a convicted child sex offender,
Oh,
and he's in prison for like 40 years. I don't know.
cash.
He was actually a pretty decent guy, But
Before
then-
the child
He
stuff.
was really friendly to me. He would always rub my shoulders and
No,
stuff in
like-
class. And
no, like you ever meet a teacher like will keep it real with you?
yeah.
Like you'll like start cussing or is like, fuck this, I want to try this or whatever.
Oh yeah.
trying to
you
be
know-
hip with the kids.
No, but like he was like that with like quite a bit of people. He's like just fucking kick his shoes on. Like I don't give a shit. Like whatever.
Yeah.
But anyways, he ended up fiddling around with like his wife's stepkids or whatever. I don't fucking know.
Wow.
It
Let's
was
move
kinda-
on
it was
from
kinda
that.
weird. But this guy had like a 71 Cuda in purple.
Nice.
He had this like 79 Ford F-250 that he had done crew cabs. So somebody chopped another one off and like
Oh
molded them
damn.
together,
Yeah.
put a Cummins in it, lifted it like 6 inches, and did a whole fucking paint job.
Wow.
And then he had a Dodge Power Wagon from like 91 or 92, the same fucking thing.
Damn.
He had like crew cabs of these. He had so many cool cars. He had an SRT4 Neon because that's how
Oh,
I
That's
remember
cool.
it.
man.
Yeah.
So that was like I remember the staff. Some of them had cool cars. One of them had like a Mach 1 and a Billet
Jeez.
GT.
All my teachers had lame stuff.
know-
I used to give my English teacher so much shit because he drove
Yeah,
an
just-
Escort.
My,
It's all
my
Kias
auto
and
shop
Hyundais.
teacher was like he used to be a service advisor for Ford, and this guy, he just think he's like, if you know what you're doing, cool, I will associate with you. But if you're like the rest of the student population that doesn't care about this and is only taking auto shop to fuck around, I don't like you.
yeah.
So, like, I remember he gave me like keys to get into the building because sometimes he'd like fucking come in like an hour late, like. And you knew he was coming because he had a big ass F-350 dually black with a white tailgate.
Oh, huh.
Yeah,
Oh,
always
yeah.
just a white
That he
tailgate.
replaced.
So 7.3, that thing was just loud. And you knew it was him coming in because
It's a
he's always
tractor.
had his coffee in one hand. He's like fucking wheel on the other, hand on the wheel. You come around this tight turn to like fucking full speed. There's like full fucking effort. You come in, just fucking park. You leave his truck running, and all you just smelled just the
diesel, yeah.
You just
Oh
smelled
my
it.
gosh.
And he'd like rush over, open the door real quick with his coffee in his hand. And he's like, "All right, Raph, open the gate." Gotta go and already have it open because I knew he was late. And he'd come around, fucking park, shut it off. And I'm like, "Rough morning." He's like, just that teacher and just
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
He's like, "More than you
I
know."
know that- I
pal."
know that
yeah.
look.
Yeah, now I have to deal with fucking 30 kids.
But my auto shop teacher was pretty badass. Like he had a 69 Cougar or 68, something like that we built a roll cage for. He had a 49 Dodge pickup, or 451, something like that we ended up doing a drop kit on and painted. Dude, we had so many cool cars in there that we just worked on that were his. He had all these projects.
Damn, yeah, nice.
So I remember him being one of the cool people because he had cool stuff.
yeah, that's neat.
And everybody's got like a favorite teacher. So like
Yeah.
the auto shop kids who cared all had the cool cars.
Well,
So
like,
we go back to that C10 that was all done up. One of my friends, Chelsea, had a Camaro that had like some 22s on or some shit.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, I remember that car for them 22s. It was a V6, if I remember right.
Of course.
And she ended up getting rid of the wheels later on. But like, we literally had like bagged cars on air, stuff like that. Nice cars done up that people
Wow.
actually took care. In.
Well, and there's one thing that I'll say before we go ahead and wrap up here is that there are different kinds of like car enthusiasts. There are people who say
yeah.
I like cars, but they only like cars in the sense of like, those like the social media, like the Pagani's and the Lamborghinis and Ferraris
Yeah,
and
the
Bugattis
status cars,
and
you
the
know,
Porsches
I'm
and
rich
like
and can afford it.
I'm into cars and it's only those manufacturers, and then you have the people that are only into like American Muscle, and
You
then
get the weirdos only into like
But
Ford
I
Pintos.
truly think the most like pure enthusiasts can look at like shit cars and go, no fucking way.
Oh yeah.
Like if you see an 80s Escort around here, like,
Oh, yeah.
to a lot of
Oh,
people
my
that's a
gosh.
pile of shit.
So on that note, I saw a ridiculously clean, and this is something you never see. Dodge Durango from like the 90s, early 2000s.
Oh, that's a tough one to find.
Was mint,
Wow.
like
Yeah.
flawless. Super old lady driving it, and I'm just like, oh, yep, I understand
Oh, yeah.
completely. I mean, I wanted. How do I say that not in a creepy way? I was like, I want to follow her.
Yeah.
I was like,
I want to
Can I
sleep with her.
buy your Durango?
yes. I was like,
Is
I
your
want to
husband
just
dead?
like give you a card and be like, look, I want to be your detailer because like I want to be the only detailer in the world that has a clean early 2000s Durango on their page because I guarantee no one else does unless they've fully refurbished one, and nobody does that because they're all in junkyards
Well, like
we
and
use
pieces.
them as tanks too.
Well,
when
and
I was a
like,
kid.
Oh, yeah.
The point that I'm getting to here is those, like, we had a gym class in high school that would bring us out, and like for like part of gym is that we had to jog around the parking lot of our high school, and there was a teacher with a clapped Buick Rendezvous, which was built on the Pontiac Aztec platform.
Yeah.
Well, those things came with a 5.3 in them.
Yeah, and like it was
didn't
funny
know that.
because me and my buddy,
swap.
who were in that class were both like car guy. He works down at Iconic. That's Scotty. We were in the same gym class, and we'd be jogging. We'd be like, "Oh, look at that Rendezvous!" And we would just laugh because a Rendezvous is the most
Getting
fucking
excited
like,
over Rendezvous.
shit mom car. They weren't great, but if you knew what it was, it's like, oh, it's funny to enjoy cars like that.
Dude, you know, speaking of that, there was I don't want to. Is it okay to say special needs?
Yeah.
Special needs, I
Yeah.
think, is
But
acceptable.
like, there was this kid that would get dropped off by his parents every day at the high school, and they drove a Trailblazer SS.
Oh,
Hell
nice.
yeah.
Dark
Yeah.
red, tinted windows. It even had the little SS sticker on the back glass. Nice wheels and tires on it, and
Yeah.
nice exhaust. The thing was proper, and I'm like, dang, guy,
Yeah.
fuck with
coming
it.
up in style.
dude. They drop him off and pick him up, and I'm like, and like it was right across from the auto shop building, so we saw him like every day, and I'm like, man. I look back at him
Yeah.
like red wine, red on
Yeah,
that
yeah.
Trailblazer.
I know exactly the red. I actually know I know someone who has that Trailblazer, that
Yeah,
dark
that's cool.
red. It's pretty mint. I think he bought it to like be like a project for his kid. I think his kid's like 7.
Oh,
So he's like, yeah, when
that'd be cool.
you know this and
Yeah, a
that.
couple years.
I don't know if that's gonna stick or not, but he's got that Trailblazer SS, and
Yeah,
it's
that's cool.
it's a badass car.
That is one of the most
Yeah.
badass
Yeah.
cars you can find.
Well, and like I ran to the store the other day, and there was like I'm never good with Mercedes models, but there was an SL 600 V12.
Oh, boy.
Super
Oh,
clean.
yeah, you
I
showed
took
me
I
a
took a
picture
picture
of
of
that.
it.
That's so for rich.
It was really cool, and you know those are nice cars, super rare. You don't see them anymore.
Yeah, if you can find one that's not clapped.
And I was like, oh no way! I actually took a picture of it. I hope she didn't see me being creepy in the parking lot.
Dude, it's like
and you know that's a
yeah,
super,
those
super
wheels
rare,
Dude,
are
those
so
wheels.
good.
super rare, cool
Wow.
car. And then I turn around and there's a fucking Toyota Camry wagon, and I was like, "Yo,
Wow,
Camry
damn.
wagon!" And I got more excited over the fucking '90s Camry wagon more
like a
than this
used car parking
V12.
lot out there of rare
Yeah.
cars.
Well, and like I feel like I said this in the other podcast, but like I was getting gas and there was a mint condition Dodge Omni,
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
which
yeah.
we'll put a picture up of the Omni. Like they were shit when they came out, but they're not around anymore. So
It's
to
like
see such a clean example
Dude,
of one,
yeah.
you're like,
Clean
no
Aztec.
way.
Somebody go find me a clean Aztec. I
Oh
will
my gosh.
90% sure I will fucking buy the thing.
Or a
with,
clean first
with the
gen.
cooler still in the middle of it.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
That's got to be given. Got to have the cooler for me to want to buy it, or the 10.
Yeah.
Cooler's
Yeah.
probably worth the same amount as the actual car.
Those coolers
Or
are worth a lot
If
when
we
you
can find a clean
them.
one that looks just like Walter White's,
Yeah.
I'd
Yeah.
absolutely stick a Heisenberg sticker on the back
You know,
window.
if there is hope to find a clean one of those, it is probably one that's Walter White spec, because after that came out, the Aztec kind of got put into the spotlight
Yeah.
again, and people did start buying them again.
Yeah.
Um,
Well,
yeah.
and like we had a limited edition PT Cruiser. come
Oh
to the shop
man,
the other day.
one of my favorite cars.
Yeah, it was limited edition. It was
Was
the
it that red one?
Turbo.
Yeah, it was the 2.4, which is the same motor of the Dodge Neon.
Was it that red one?
It was orange. It was
Orange.
orange. It
Was
was
all like
man,
chrome
old,
on it?
old lady owned. All the chrome was perfect.
All the
Chrome
chrome,
rims, 2.4 turbo. I think it was called the Dream Cruiser. And I looked it up.
I'm
They
in.
they only made 7,000 of those.
It's a
I
unicorn.
want
Yeah,
it so
and
bad.
dude, and she was driving it, and she wanted it.
I'm
It
getting
was so
excited
funny.
thinking about it.
This will be the last story
I-
before we wrap up here. But we're working on this PT Cruiser, super clean. And she's like, "Oh, I want to get rid of it." So we're asking her why is she getting rid of it? She's like, "Well, this car's made for kids, you know?
What?
It's made for younger teenagers, and like I feel like I'm too old driving it. And I had to be nice, but in my mind I'm like, lady, you're the demographic for this car.
Yes.
She looks at me, she's like, would anyone do any of your friends want to buy this PT Cruiser? And I didn't have
Send
the
it
heart.
this way.
I didn't have the heart to tell her I would rather walk than drive a PT Cruiser.
I would drive.
I will buy it.
Yeah, I sent
The only cool thing is that it's limited edition and it had the turbo. Other than that,
Bro,
the PT Cruisers were
glorious.
terrible.
The inner Mexican in me saw all that chrome, and I was like, I am 100%
yeah.
about it.
I just like PT Cruisers.
But she thought,
Dude, it looked good. Like this thing was cherry.
it's like a Hot Wheel.
you know,
Yeah.
I walked by it and I was like, man, this thing is clean.
yeah, but she thought that PT Cruisers were for the kids. And
I mean, maybe they
just-
were when they came
you
out,
know,
but those
scratch
kids are
out-
now 90.
Scratch out our podcast name. I think PT Cruisers are for the kids. It's gonna be our
PT
podcast.
Cruisers.
or at least the title of the episode.
Yeah, there you
PT
go.
Cruisers are for the kids.
They are.
Yeah,
On
it's
that
just-
note,
man.
Yeah,
any final remarks, gentlemen? Because I know it's getting a little late here.
Yeah, well, for today's life lesson, even if you drive a pile of shitbox, keep it nice and clean. It might be worth some money here in the future.
Yeah, you never know.
And don't get DUIs and get breathalyzers because you'll just
Yeah,
get
don't
made
do
fun
that.
of on this podcast at
No,
that
don't
point.
do that.
Yeah.
But
Oh, and in the comments, what was your first car? What did your parents drive? You know, what
Oh,
did
yeah.
what did you guys grow up getting in and out of, and
or
throwing cereal
better
all
yet,
around?
just email us some pictures or drop us some pictures, and we'll include them in the next podcast for a small segment.
Yeah.
Totally. Yeah.
Yeah. We can make that a new segment. What did you grow up in? What was your first car? You know,
Yeah.
I miss the
Viewers'
Ford.
rides or something like that.
I miss the old like Ford LTD wagons.
Yeah.
I want to see some of those with the wood panels on the side.
I always
Oh,
think of
man,
I
yeah,
think
yeah.
of Chevy Chase's adventures
Yeah.
with the
Yeah.
stupid wagons.
Uh-huh.
All the
Those look
time.
great.
So many people had those.
All right.
I
Well, yeah. Anyway, drop in the comments what you drove. What was your first car? What was your parents' cars? And yeah,
Side,
we'll
you know, your
we'll
side
go through
hose
some
cars,
of
you
those. Yeah.
know.
Absolutely. Yeah.
All right.
We'll
Well,
see you on the next one.
Yeah. You guys have a good night.
Later.